Blog Talk Radio.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, brothers and sisters. This is Brother Stanley of Sin No More Ministries, here to encourage you all to support Sal's Showtime on Debate Talk for You. Those that have been showing support, you have been such a blessing to this powerful ministry, in so much that this show is still on the air because of your heartfelt love gift. For those who are unable to give, we are still praying that you reach down into your pocket for $1. Yes, that's exactly what I said. I said $1. That same paper that you use for that vending machine. Amen? That dollar will make so much of a difference in this ministry. If you go to PayPal and set up your account, you can do it in so much that they can only reach out $1 every month from your check. You won't even feel it. And the show will stay alive on the air because of you. You'll have such powerful debates every week for years to come. So go to www.paypal.com, then use the email debatetalkforyou@gmail.com. That is debate talk 4 and letter U @gmail.com to donate. God bless you all.
What it do, people? It's your boy B Lit Dive, and I'm chilling over here with my man Sal Showtime, man. And I'm just here to let y'all know that there's only one place that you need to go to hear the word from the word, man. And that's at Debate Talk for You, man. I'm going to slow it down, man, because a lot of people slow. I speak fast because I'm from New York, but, I'm going to slow it down, man. That's Debate Talk for You, hosted by my man Sal Showtime. You dig? Keep it tuned, man. You already know what it is.
Peace and shalom. This is Emunah Yisrael from the Sunshine State, and I am tuned in to Debate Talk for You, the place where you can get intellectual exchange with no profanity. I love it. One.
This is Frank Nowak, coming straight out of Phoenix, Arizona, a.k.a. the Soldier of Faith, a.k.a. the Catholic. When I'm not exegeting scriptures according to the early church or studying the church fathers, I'm listening to Debate Talk for You with Sal Showtime. In nomine Patris et Filii et Spiritus Sancti. Sicut erat in principio et nunc et in seculum seculorum. Amen.
So, Shalom. Call Allah Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. It's Brother Chief Priest Alazar Bun Lawyer, a.k.a. the Gorilla Hebrew, representing Exodus 17:15, a.k.a. the Sector of the Sakari. And you know where I'm at. Every Friday, the Lion's Den with Sal Showtime on Debate Talk for You. You can catch me on there often, ripping somebody's head off, tearing down some false doctrine. Big shout out to all of the Debate Talk for You family and listeners and supporters out there. Keep supporting the movement. And, beautiful edification is getting put out to the masses right now. So again, shalom and call halal Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai.
Greatness attracts greatness. Talk with the Titans host here, Callum L. And you're now locked into Debate Talk for You Radio.
Greetings from the I Love Being Black movement. We have the largest black Facebook page with over 6 million fans worldwide, and we're offering advertising options at affordable rates. If you want to increase your reach with loads of new fans, then this is absolutely the best way. We also offer seminars, consultations, and strategic planning services by Kumi Raouf, aka the Social Strategist. Why not contact us today at ilovebeingBlack.com or call us at 310-807-5775. Cheers.
I come to you today in peace. My name is Emunah Yisrael, recent author of The Angry Quote-Unquote Black Woman Syndrome Revisited, Volume 1, Her Mind. It is a hot new piece all about the mind of the quote-unquote angry black woman. How does she operate in this society? How has slavery affected her? Just opening up really a 200-plus-year-old stereotype. So if you haven't taken a look as yet, go ahead over to www.emunahyisrael.com and you can definitely check that out. Or you can just go to Amazon and look up Angry Black Woman Syndrome Revisited and see us there. You can check me on all social media, Twitter, Facebook, Periscope, YouTube, everything under Emunah Yisrael. So until next time, thank you for tuning in and definitely be the change that you desire to see in the world. One.
Holy greetings to you all. This is Minister DeAndre from Heirs of the Promise Ministries. It's been a while since the Debate Talk for You artist has heard from me. That's because on this year, April 8th, 2015, I was diagnosed with acute lymphoblastic leukemia, also called ALL. And also, I found out I had a chromosome called the Philadelphia chromosome, which meant I would have to have a stem cell bone marrow transplant. Well, through the Be the Match registry, worldwide registry, the doctors did find me a 100% unrelated donor, and I had that stem cell bone marrow transplant on July 18th of this year. And I'm proud to say, through the grace and mercy and healing power of the Most High, I am cancer-free. Hallelujah. Now I need you guys, the Debate Talk for You audience, to go to my GoFundMe account, gofundme.com/QZ4SEBVC. That's gofundme.com/QZ4SEBVC and give a donation, and I would appreciate it, your love and support. I'm looking forward to coming minister to you guys in the near future. Peace and blessings to you all.
Peace and greetings to all. I'm a digital artist over at Epic Arts. In fact, that's my brand. Just to get right to the meat, some current examples. Matter of fact, I consider them to be great examples of the work I do. It's the work I have been doing for Debate Talk for You for about a year now. So if you want to get a feel of just the basic thing I do, you can have a look at Sal's gallery. Other things I do include book cover design. So if you are an independent writer and you're looking for a unique book cover design, I'm the guy. My prices are pretty fair. They're fairer than most, in fact. If you want more information on that or more information in general, you can always contact me at epicdesigns@gmail.com. See, that's EPIK, not with a C, guys. That's EPIK. So, and designs has a Z in it. That's DEZIGNS. That's EPIK DEZIGNS @gmail.com.
All praises, all honor, all glory to the supreme intellect of the universe. This is Nasi Yashuvel of Shomrei HaTorah in Atlanta. And if I'm not reading my Torah or suplexing some false deity, I'm listening to my man, Sal Showtime, and Debate Talk for You Radio. Beautiful. Keep doing the good work, brother, bringing forth the information and spreading that love.
Don't touch that dial. You're now listening to Debate Talk for You Radio.
This is Ronald Francoeur representing from Atlanta, Georgia. And when I'm not busy in the studio, I'm checking out Debate Talk for You Radio. Keep up the great work, Sal Showtime.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? How you guys doing? Welcome to another show. You're now listening to Season 6 of Debate Talk for You Radio. Welcome to the new segment called the Relationship Challenge. Once again, it's the Relationship Challenge, Volume 5. It's a brand new segment that my co-host has created, Emunah Israel. We appreciate her. We got a lot of great feedback, actually, since the segment has been created. A lot of emails and a lot of people saying, letting me know that they appreciate the show and they learned a lot from all the special guests that can come on the panel. So, of course, we appreciate the dedicated fans out there that love the show. And if you want to, keep sending emails, if you want to be a part of the show, you can as well. Just send me an email at debatetalkview@gmail.com. That's debatetalkview@gmail.com. Don't be shy. You can come on the panel and join us, have a dialogue and a conversation. As a matter of fact, my co-host is here. Just press number 1, Emunah, and I'll press number 1. There you go. All right, Emunah, welcome to the show.
Greetings. Welcome, Brother Sal. I'm telling you, welcome to good evening, Brother Sal, and to all those who are listening. All praise be to the Most High. This is Emunah Israel, and thank you for the welcome. It is well received.
Yeah, I appreciate you. So what you been up to so far, and, let us know what's going on. As a matter of fact, how has the response, the feedback has been since the show has been on the air?
The feedback is good. Actually, tonight I saw that we got some pre-show banter going on, if that's the word for it. A little bit of back and forth, a little conversation. So it seems that we're touching a nerve and building anticipation. This is a beautiful thing. Like Brother Sal said, call in, let your voice be heard. We keep it respectable, and let's start this dialogue for healing.
That's right. Once again, it's the Relationship Challenge, Volume 5. Today's show is entitled, Are Men and Women Out of Order? That's right, people. Once again, the topic is, are men and women out of order? Where's this going here with this particular topic? We're going to find out here live, right here on Debate Talk Radio. And, of course, we're going to have Emunah explain, why she came up with this particular topic for the people out here to discuss and dialogue and think about. But, again, if you have any questions or comments, you know that number, 646-716-7320. Shout out to the people that call in 15 minutes, 10 minutes ahead of time. Just waiting for Debate Talk for you to come on the air. Of course, all the international listeners overseas in the UK and beyond, we appreciate you guys for tuning in to Debate Talk Radio overseas, and everybody on social media, on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Let's check out the show. If you're on Facebook, do me a big favor. Share it on your personal page. Let people know that Debate Talk was on the air. Of course, attach the number, and it's the show where you listen to audience can call in live, and only rule that I have is there's no foul language. You got to keep it clean, keep it professional. We have people out here listening with children, even the elderly, so we appreciate you guys. If you already called in, all you have to do is simply press number 1 if you want to chime in later on, if you have any questions or comments. But let's introduce the special guest panel. Once again, let's introduce the special guest panel. I have my brother Ahwar. He's back. Ahwar the Swordsman, welcome to the show.
Hey, what's going on, Big Sal, and my sister? How you doing, sister? Shalom. I'm here, man.
How you feeling? Ahwar the Swordsman? What's been going on with you lately, brother? What's been happening?
I'm in the vineyard getting ready for the Passover, but look out for my show. It's coming. I had to get my software together, but I'm finally figuring it out. I'm doing everything by myself, so it's taking a little longer, but it's going to be out there. It's going to be fire. All praise to the Most High in the name of Yahweh Shah, who we call the Christ. And that's it, man. Keep moving.
Yeah, man, we're definitely looking forward to that new segment by Water Swordsman, who's been a debate veteran on this platform, on Debate Talk Radio. Let's go to the next special guest. This is my sister right here from Brooklyn. Mayanah, welcome to the show.
Hey, shalom everybody. What up, Sash? I represented from Brooklyn 1 This is Mayanah, and I really appreciate you welcoming back to the platform. I look forward to talking with everyone and meeting again with our brother Ahwar and our special guest, Bro Mercy, I believe. So I'm really looking forward to today's conversation.
Yeah, we appreciate you. That's my sister from the BK right there. She's on the line, representing. But let's go to the next special guest. She's actually brand new to the panel. This is his first time actually on Debate Talk for You. First time doing this. He actually emailed me and reached out and wanted to be a part of the segment. So, of course, like I said, if you want to be a part of the segment, just send me an email, and we'll gladly bring you on so you can, be a part of the panel. This is Mercy. Mercy, welcome to the show.
Yes. My name is Mercy, and I'm a member of the Messianic Judaism community, and we believe in the Messiah, and we also believe in honoring Torah. But I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to have discussion. The last discussion has been wonderful, so I'm just hoping to learn and hoping to add my little 2 cents.
All right, man, we definitely appreciate you, man. Anything you want to let the people know, man, as far as where your congregation is, or, maybe somebody out there might be interested and want some information or some knowledge, you probably want to put that information out there. It's up to you, though. Anything you want to put out there?
Well, I have a worship center in D.C. and in Maryland. In D.C., it's a show. But basically, it's a pretty, we just come together and try to observe Torah and try to celebrate together on Sabbath. But question, I don't have a website, nothing like that.
Yeah. All right, it's all good. All right, only rules that we have here, like I said, is no foul language. And, of course, if you have any background noise, special guests, just gently mute your mics, mute your phones, so, that way everybody can hear, the listening audience can hear what's going on clearly. But, of course, we're going to start off with Emunah, letting us know, how this topic has been presented, what's going on with this particular topic, are men and women out of order. And, of course, she's going to, moderate and, do the dialogue. I'm just going to basically, be on social media, interacting with the social media family out there. And, of course, I'm open the phone line later on. That number, 64. Yeah, Mona, can you hear me? Are you there?
I hear you now. It was going in and out a little bit. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Yeah, you good now. You're loud and clear.
All right. Okay. Thank you once again, Brother Sal. Welcome to all of the listeners who are listening and who will be listening. And as I say always, I pray this conversation is basically edifying and we can go forward on this healing journey together. So the question of the night is, are men and women out of order? Oftentimes we hear, woman, you out of order, and then it'd be like, oh, the men are out of order, but it's kind of like whispered. And so Sister Mayanah, and I want to thank her for coming on week after week because she adds a lot to the conversation. At one point I had her on the live stream, and she spoke so eloquently and so thought-provoking on women are out of order. And so as we continue to have the conversation, we say, hey, let's bring it here and have input as to in what ways are men and women out of order. So for those who are listening, it's not just a bashing fest. It's hopefully for us to articulate in what ways in our estimation or experience are the men out of order, and in what ways in our estimation or experience are the women out of order, and kind of have some measuring stick, not just because I say so, but because, okay, this is where it's coming from, and this is why it's out of order. So I hope that was clear and concise, and that's the topic. And like I said, it already started jumping on social media, so we're going to just definitely go ahead and dive into it, Brother Sal.
All right, and do me a favor. Once again, I'm hearing some, background. Please, if you're not speaking, just press mute on your phones, so therefore we won't have any background noises. All right, you know what? We always start with the new person on the panel, when we, start these shows up. Of course, Ahwar is a regular, and Mayanah is a regular. It's going to be each and every week, so we're going to start off with the new brother, Brother Mercy. What do you feel about this particular topic? Are men and women out of order?
Well, I would like to say that I believe that men are definitely out of order, and I think the reason why is because men don't know their purpose as they didn't know their purpose from the beginning. When God created Adam, he created Adam to take care of the garden, as you see in Genesis chapter 2, verses 4 through 5. There was no plant on the ground, and God did not send it to rain. So we see a problem, and the only problem I hear men and people say is that, and even including women say, it's not good for the man to be alone. Well, that's not the only problem. The problem is there was nobody to take care of the garden before there was a garden. And because there was no man to work the ground, God had not sent the rain. So I think the main thing is man needs to understand and know that why he's where he's at. Now, if he's inside the Lord's garden, he should be working in the vineyard. That's the main thing he should be doing. And one thing, if you know anything about a garden, you know things grow in a garden that should not be there. And one of those things are weeds. You know, if you grow flowers in a flower garden, weeds grow up naturally that you did not plant. And men understand that they need to uproot those weeds so that the flowers can grow and blossom. If they understood that, then they would understand it's not about standing behind a pulpit and running your mouth, but it's really about battling those things that grow in the Lord's garden that destroys what you have planted. And, of course, the Lord had planted the garden. The man didn't plant anything. Man obviously did no work since the beginning. He didn't plant the garden. The Lord planted the garden. He didn't water the garden. The Lord had caused the mist to come out of the ground. He didn't do that either. He didn't irrigate it. He didn't. Only thing the Genesis record him doing is naming animals, and so running his mouth. Okay, that's what Genesis recorded: running his mouth, naming animals. So, and then after that, shortly the next verse you read, Adonai puts him to sleep after that, because at that point it's like he's not working. All he wants to do is run his mouth. So that's the first problem, and then that creates another problem. Since he doesn't want to do any work in the garden, things are growing, and there's a poisonous tree growing up, the forbidden tree, that kills his family. Okay? Why? Because he's not taking care of the garden. So what I see, I'm just going to make this, I'm sorry, going too long, but what I wanted to say is man needs to understand their purpose. They need to understand why they're in the Lord's garden. They're in it to take care of what the Lord has planted. That's why they're there. They're there to cultivate it. They're not there to run their mouths, okay? So I could care less about a man being behind a pulpit. What I want to know is what are the men doing to take care of the Lord's vineyard? And that's all I have to say in my introduction. Thank you.
Oh, man. Brother Mercy just came with fire. Thank you for oh, wow. I wasn't expecting that one. I want to thank Brother Mercy for opening up the conversation. I heard so much I don't even know. I'm going to go ahead. Very, very interesting point of view. I'm going to go ahead now to go over to Sister Mayanah as we open up this dialogue and this conversation. Are the men out of order? Are the women out of order? And if so, in what way? Sister Mayanah, the mic is yours.
Well, thank you for that. And thank you, Brother Mercy, for opening up in such a thought-provoking manner. I was almost willing to close the show behind those statements alone, but we did prepare quite a bit to go over. And I think the first thing that I would have to say is that absolutely both the men and the women are out of order. And just like in the segment that we did together, I would like to clarify that when I say we're out of order, I mean literally out of order. We are out of sequence. Both the men and the women are assuming roles they're not properly equipped for based on biological determinants and not their true spiritual maturation. And what I mean by that is that you have women assuming the roles of wife before understanding or embracing the roles of daughter, sister, and woman. Those three roles would have prepared her for that wife role that she assumed coming into the truth on day 1, day 2, day 3. Which is, basically akin to an 8-year-old deciding that they were ready to be someone's wife and mother, having no previous preparation, and then kind of predictably being in this place of being unsure, uncertain, and feeling a bit overwhelmed because they didn't go through the natural stages of being the Most High's daughter, understanding what it is to be a sister, and becoming familiar with their roles as a woman so that it can be a contributing factor to a man's household. Likewise, the men are being told that just by virtue of their reproductive organs, they are qualified to be teachers. Their masculine energy is sufficient to lead. Whether or not that energy has been cultivated, tamed, matured, and educated is not of consequence, just that the presence of masculine energy is sufficient. And consequently and predictably, we have men who don't know how to govern, don't know how to lead, are compensating in ways that are unnatural and unhelpful, and contributing to the downward spiral of our goal of nation building. As leaders, that they've assumed that the role of leader without the training to be a leader. So, again, assuming a role that they're not ready for, instead of going through the preparatory roles, the roles of being a son, understanding just that son role, being a brother to someone else, and learning what it is to be a man, which the Brother Mercy touched on, that there were things that were established in the beginning that Adam was expected to do. I'm not sure if the brother, I'm sure the brother didn't mean to overlook this part of it, but it's stated in Genesis that although Adam did not create the garden or plant the garden, he was tasked with dressing and keeping it. He did not plant it. He was not capable of creating water to water or irrigate those crops, but he was tasked with dressing and keeping it. And those are members of our family who are familiar with agriculture are aware that being in charge of horticulture, to have plant life, and animal life is called husbandry. So a man's first office, before he was ever a king or priest or prophet, his first office was husbandry. And in that way, he was first charged to be a husband. So he was supposed to have had preparatory stages before he takes on a woman. He's still supposed to go through the stages of understanding what it means to sustain life, not create life, but sustain life, maintain life, nurture life, and bring forth good things. And like the brother said, extract and take away and guard that plant life from dangerous interlopers. So that's the first of 8 points that I'll try to discuss with you during our time. But yeah, that first way that the men and women are out of order is quite literal. They're literally not doing things in the appropriate sequence.
Uh-oh. So I want to thank that. That was Sister Mayanah opening up on this conversation of our men and women out of order. So far I've heard literally out of order. I've heard orders out of order because the men and the women don't know their principles or their responsibilities, so to say. So this is very interesting. I'm going to come to Brother Ahwar for him to open up his thought process in this conversation. Brother Ahwar, are men and women out of order?
Yes, we are. And you know me, like one of my favorite sayings is to get lost in the forest, let's go to the beginning. And I want to build on what the sister said. This is 2nd Esdras in the King James Apocrypha, 7 verse 48. It says, O thou Adam, what hast thou done? So as being a member of the loins of Adam, I as a man of Israel take full responsibility for the chaos that's on the earth. I had part in it as well. That's a form of humility. But I'm going to read it again. It says, O thou Adam, what hast thou done? For though it was thou that sinned, thou art not fallen alone, for we all that come of thee. So what Adam did, the whole creation have been affected. And it's our job as men of Israel to get back to, like the brother said and the sister said, taking back the earth and get it back in order under the Most High and His beloved Son, what He sent His Son to do. Then it says, for what profit is it unto us if there be promised us an immortal time, whereas we have done the works that bring death? That's what we have in the earth. Then it says, and that there is promised us an everlasting hope, whereas ourselves being most wicked are made vain. That's what's going on in the earth right now. The whole earth is vain. There's nothing of integrity, honor. Everything is in a chaotic state. Then it says, and that there are laid up for us a dwelling of health and safety, whereas we have lived wickedly. So yes, we both at fault, the man and the woman, and we're both out of order. And the next time I get to speak, I want to put the mess on the table, and let's dissect it and get a diagnosis on the death that's on the earth that's affecting all of us. Okay, that's all I want to say on that.
Thank you for that. That's Brother Ahwar. He done gave us a preview of what's coming up next. Looking forward to it, definitely. Once again, this is us opening up. So we got a general consensus that the answer is Cain. Yes, men and women are out of order. So now that we got that established, let's go into listening into ways in which we heard a few of the introduction into the ways. But can we get a little more specific? I heard Brother Mercy alluding to men propensity towards out of talking. Brother Mercy, can you share with us your thoughts on some other ways in which men and women may be out of order, actual things that they're doing that people may be able to identify in this space and time? So the mic is yours, Brother Mercy.
Okay. What I would like to say is that one thing men do is they think their job is to preach. They really do believe that. They believe when they get saved, their first job is to get on the stage and perform. I really believe that's what they believe. Just like Adam, giving names to animals. That's what men do. That's what men think they're supposed to do. But really, I think if I had a law, if I was king, I say every man should give their wives flowers. Now, some men may say, and then I will ask the men, well, how are you going to get your wives flowers? Well, I'll probably one man probably say, I'll go to the flower shop and buy my woman some flowers. No, that's wrong. No, I want you to get a garden, go to the store, get flower seed, okay, plant it in the ground, learn the laws of nature so Torah can teach you. Okay, this is Torah. This is Torah talking. Plant the seed in the ground, understand how difficult it is for things to grow out of the ground. Understand what your flowers will have to go through. Uproot those weeds. Understand what it takes. See, these are the laws of nature. These are the principles of nature. And that's the problem with men. They feel that they can just go to the store and buy their wives gifts, not learning the first principles that Yahweh taught. And that is, brother, I'm putting you in my garden to take care of it, to dress it. I don't want you going to the store buying flowers, okay? Because you're not going to learn nothing that way. But if you learn how to grow flowers and grow a garden and grow food for the house, like tomatoes, and that turns to tomatoes, cucumbers, so forth, you learn the first principles on what it takes to be in order. And once you get in order, I believe everything else will be in order. Because if you cut down that forbidden tree, your wife won't eat it, and your family will live. So that's my answer.
All right, and that is a voice of Brother Mercy. I think is interesting. He keeps going back to the illustration of the process. That's what I'm hearing, that we're out of order because of the process of which we are now doing things in the natural realm. And so, like he says, a woman who many say is so delicate and so fragile in some people's estimation, but you don't know how to cultivate. You don't know how to take care. You have lost that protective mechanism, that husbandry, those things. Now, this is what's causing one to just have many assumptions. This is what I'm hearing. Hopefully I'm not misconstruing it, but, having many assumptions that are not necessarily based in the principles of law. So I just think that's very interesting. I want to and I'm going to go over to Mayanah for her next input in physical ways or physical actual representations of how men and women are out of order in this space and time. Mayanah, the mic is yours.
Thank you, sister. Once again, Brother Mercy brought out another important part of what we need to do to work towards reconciling this kind of being out of order. So I said previously that there is a literal out of order that we need to first reconcile with and correct. And once we've done that, we can move on to what happens in our reality where, because we won't be able to physically remain children or stay too long in our sister stage. We build on all of those stages ultimately so that we can join our men in a fruitful union and a marriage that is going to be stable and healthy and righteous. But to that end, the brother made the point that men are a bit prone to pontification. They like to hear themselves speak. Whether or not what they are saying has any merit isn't always important, but what's important is that they are talking. And any type of inquiry into what they're actually saying is often very poorly received. And that kind of goes into the second point that we were talking, that I have listed here on my speaking points under rulership. So without question or contestation, the men are absolutely in the rulership role, but what that means bears interrogation. Taking that role to diminish the role of the women, and women are guilty of diminishing the roles of the men. That rulership role, women are diminishing the power behind that statement. You know, oh yeah, it almost dismissively, like, yeah, you know, you guys are rulers, but. So in that way, women are guilty of diminishing the value of that role as well. Women do it by emphasizing what they can do without men. Men do it by erasing the contributions of women. Rulership also in the vein of oppression and permission. And what I mean by that is that men use their new authority to impose unlawful limitations on women in areas such as prayer, speaking, and even reading scriptures. Women engage in the misuse of this by trading emasculation for infantilization. Out of fear of suppressing the man's masculine energy and not permitting him to be a man, she coddles him like a child, which has the same end result of not having a man to begin with. She will also fail to ask questions about his, quote, teachings, end quote, and consequently leave herself open to errant teachings and failing her role as a meek help. So what all of that really means is that, for example, infantilization is when, out of fear of emasculating the men, because women are always being accused of emasculating the men every time we have any sort of expectations of them. Suddenly we're emasculating them. If we have questions, we are emasculating them. So instead you get these women who get together and make all kinds of justifications and excuses for the men, and essentially just treating them like children. Oh, no, you can't do that. Johnny's too sensitive. Oh, no, you can't do that. That's not hurt his feelings. You know, he has a boo-boo. So we treat them like infants. And in that same way, we don't allow them to be men. We're so afraid of not allowing them to be men by emasculating that masculine energy that we treat them like our sons, which also has the unintended effect of treating them like children and not allowing them to be men. Men are accountable. We have this thing with authority. We hear a lot about a man's authority, but we get really quiet on their accountability. So in terms of rulership, just to recap, with rulership, women have a tendency, some women have a tendency to diminish what that means, to have rulership, and to effect rulership. If we accept that they are in the rulership position, then we also have to give them space to be accountable and responsible. And it is okay to have expectations of our men. It is because the women have failed to have expectations of our men that they have given up on themselves. If we give up on them, they give up on themselves. They have no reason to believe that they are all of the things that they purport to be and that we're supposed to encourage them to be or act on those things if we have no expectations. And the men have to then not use this new authority, not use this new dedication that the women are to lavish on them against us, to erase our contributions. I'll give you an example of an interesting episode of erasure. There's this new thing populating all over social media, specifically on Facebook, where they are forwarding the notion that sperm is spirit, and sperm is provides the brain and the spine, and the egg provides flesh, blood, and some other completely unscientific factor. Okay, now this means to diminish what the women do. There's an older theory that women are just incubators. The male seed has life. There is no life in the female. That all the necessary genetic material for life exists solely in the sperm. The women contribute nothing to that. They are essentially just dirt or incubators for their sperm. And in this way, you, again, diminish the value of the woman. That the Most High just has these repositories for your ejaculations, and that's the extent of the role of the woman in bringing forth life. So this is a clear kind of misuse of rulership and authority that contributes to this diminishing of each other's role. Naturally, women are going to push against that kind of errant teaching, question other errant teachings. This is really weird. With women who are trying very hard to not be viewed as rebellious and contentious, don't ask simple questions like, what do you mean sex is marriage? And what do you mean by saying women have no role in the life-bearing process? And they don't ask those questions because then we'll shoot to them this idea that they are somehow out of order by asking questions. So I'll end it there with the second point and leave and cross it back to the panel.
Wow. I hope you guys are taking notes. This is some interesting stuff. So we have function, we have lack of principle, and now we have abuse of what I'm hearing from Sister Mayanah. We have abuse of position without, and I like that one when she made the statement of wanting authority without accountability. And both men and women, what I'm hearing is out of order in these areas because the woman is supposed to be that accountability factor. She's supposed to be, and if she's being closed mouth because she's afraid, because whether or not you're being bullied or you're told that you're Jezebel or that you're told that you're out of order, what you're doing in actuality is not doing your job. You understand what I'm saying? So, and then that further makes things out of order. There's one particular instance within the Torah. Well, there's many, but people often go to Ahab and Jezebel. But one of the ones I like to go to was in the wilderness. And in the space in the wilderness where there was a lot of contention going on, and the guilty parties, the Most High said something very interesting. He said, back away from them. And it said his wife, his children, and all that were pertaining on to him. So if this individual is going out of order, and not only are they going out of order, you're following them out of order, that, in extension, allows you to be out of order. We see the situation reversed in the case of Abigail, and I'm just talking about rulership and the way that we see it played out, as Sister Mayanah just pointed. In the case of Abigail and Nabal, even though Nabal was out of order, Abigail didn't follow him out of order. She stayed within her order in order to make sure that even if he's foolish in what he's doing, she doesn't follow him. So I think these are very interesting points, as she pointed out, as we touched on some other times, that women and men, let's not just say, because sometimes the woman is out of order, and I know some people are going to be like, what? The woman is out of order, and she's encouraging, and I've also seen this, the man to do wickedness. You know, she's encouraging him to go into some different sciences. She's encouraging him to touch things that he ought not touch, kind of like the narrative from the garden. So, again, very interesting. I'm going to go ahead to Brother Ahwar, and let's hear some. Like you said, you're going to put it on the table now, Brother Ahwar, so we're listening. How are some of the ways that men and women are out of order real time?
Oh, okay. First I want to put this. We're going to put the infection on the table. This is Isaiah 3:12. I got a couple of things. It says, this is Isaiah 3:12. It says, as for my people, children are their oppressors. That's problem number one. Okay, what I mean by children are our oppressors is that the people that are oppressing us today come from us. Okay, then it says, and women rule over them. Okay, that's another problem. A lot of men, I like what the sister said, adding what she said, they don't know their position. Okay, and they're ruled by women. A lot of men are ruled by women. You'll be amazed. A lot of men can't go outside after 9 o'clock. All right, let me repeat that. It says, they which lead thee call thee to err. Okay, a lot of these people that are standing up being pastors and teachers, they're not teaching the true order that the Most High gave us in the scriptures. Okay, that's why there's a lot of feminine things going on with men. There's a lot of women trying to play masculine roles. Then it says, and destroy the way of thy past. And our past, which is the true past of the Creator, has been destroyed because of this. Now I'm going to go to, this is Jeremiah 3, verse 22. It says, how long wilt thou go about, O backsliding daughter, talking to the children of Israel? For the Lord hath created a new thing in the earth. It says, a woman shall compass a man. That was in the prophecy. That's what you have going on now. That's where there's a lot of out-of-order women, a lot of out-of-order men, and a lot of women have stepped up and took the position of being men because men are being so feeble, and they're not holding their part of the bargain. Okay? I'm going to read one more about how a lot of men is out of order. Right here. Because I don't want to be this guy who want to bash women and all that. I'm not like that. I deal with equity and balance. Everybody's screwed up. This is 2 Timothy 3. It says, this know also that in the last days perilous times shall come. That's where we are now. For men shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemous, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy. Without natural affection, you have all these elements. Truth breakers, false accusers, okay? What is that? I can't pronounce it, but I'm going to skip it. It says, fierce, despisers of those that are good, traitors, heady, high-minded, lovers of pleasure more than lovers of God, having a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof, from such turn away. For this sort are they which creep into houses and lead captive silly women laden with sins, led away with diverse lusts. So that's the result of all those things. They're getting these women, they prey on women that are weaker in wisdom, don't know. That's why you have a lot of women having these problems right now with their spouse because they chose a man they didn't know what kind of man to choose. They get a man that manipulates them and all kind of chaos. That's why you have these things going on and a lot of these problems. That's why I said men and women are going on. But I'm going to drop it right there and pass the mic.
All right. Brother came out of some scriptures that people will say, are very interesting, and I've heard them spoken about oftentimes concerning what's going on and why it may be possibly going on. So I want to thank Brother Ahwar for that. Why do I feel like I skipped somebody? Brother Sal, are you there? Are you on deck? I just want to check on you, make sure you're over there and you're good.
Yeah, I'm pretty good. I'm actually interacting with people on social media. I got a lot of questions I want to put out there, comments I actually want to put out there later on. I just want to let you guys, pretty much dialogue, and I want to jump in where I fit in, So, but again, I see people on the phone line. If you have any questions or comments, you know that number, 646-716-7320. I see a lot of interesting questions, a lot of interesting comments on social media. And don't be afraid. Feel free to call in. You know that number. Well, go ahead, guys.
All right, so I'm going to go back over to Brother Mercy. So can we get a little more? I heard that in your estimation, men oftentimes pontificate or speak more than they're actually doing. What do you feel about the expectations that men have of the women in light of that, in light of them speaking more, in your estimation, than what they're actually manifesting? Is it a fair expectation that men have of women? Are men trying to get women to do what they ought to be doing via their communication, their swag, their ability to speak her into his actual position? What are your thoughts on that, Brother Mercy?
Thank you so much for calling on me again. I waited patiently as I heard my brother Swordsman speak, and he said something about men being in the house by 9 o'clock, and I have to address that. I'm going to answer your question, but I got to address that because, see, that's the exact problem I had with men right there. They need to be in the bed by 9 o'clock so they can get up in the morning and go to work. That's the thing. They think somebody's infringing on their rights when really it is, they're not thinking about working. And even Yahshua said, he said, you must work while it is day. So when the sun sets, there's no more work. The federal and state parks are closed, okay? So you need to be resting so you can get up in the morning. That's why men come to work and they're tired, because they didn't get enough rest the night before. Now, and I'm going to read a verse out of Genesis chapter 3, verse 20. And it said, then Adam named his wife Eve because she would become the mother of all people everywhere. Now, if his wife Eve is the mother of all people, that means that she is really spiritually and figuratively his mother. And the reason why I say that is because, see, in the old days, people used to look at a man treat his mother. If he showed respect to his mother, they would say, well, he has a chance to be a good husband. But when you got a man that don't respect their own mother, then he's probably not going to be a good husband. I'm not to say your wife should be your mother, but what I'm saying is sometimes men need to listen to their wives. Sometimes, she say, I don't see being in the house by 9 o'clock as a bad thing, especially when it's night and the sun is not out. So I don't see that as a negative thing. That could be a positive thing. That could work to your benefit, man. And see, Swordsman laughs at other men that be in the house. But see, we going to work, though, and get promotion on that job. Then you want to call us the white man and all that. No, it's because I went to bed last night on time, so I get up in the morning listening to my, you say mother, or I'm just a child. No, I do what Adonai commanded me to do. That's to work. And the Bible says when man don't work, he shouldn't eat. And since Adam didn't do no work at all, he didn't plant the garden, he didn't water the garden, all he did was run his mouth and name the animals. That's all he did. He didn't do no work at all. And since he didn't work, he shouldn't have ate anything at all. He should have went out to work, killed that forbidden tree, cut it down, and then let me give you some practical things to answer your question about what men should do. First of all, they should respect their women like they respect their mothers. That's number one. I mean, that's just number one. I see little boy. I'm talking about even from a little boy. I see little boys talking back to their mothers. I see that even as a child. So they shouldn't be talking back to their mothers, first of all. Second of all, men should understand their purpose. Their first purpose is to care for the garden. Is to care. I mean, that is so. That is so important. Why are you in the Lord's vineyard? Why are you in the worship place? You're not in the worship place to run your mouth. You're in the worship place to work. And I can't stress that enough, because these men, you can say what you want to say. We about to have a female president, so you can say whatever you want to say. The women already took over, and they about to become president. So unless you're going to vote for Donald Trump, they're taking over. So why? Because the men want to stay out past 9 o'clock, Swordsman. That's why. They don't want to follow rules. And a lot of our men don't follow rules. They don't. And I know this is true. They don't. Men like to be free. They like to run the streets. That's what they love to do. And that's what you love to do. But understand, when you do that, you leave work undone, and then now you're going to look up voting for a female president. That's what's about to happen. So you can sit back and say it's not going to happen, but that's happening. And all I'm saying to you is this: we need to concentrate on our work. Once we concentrate on our work, we'll be fine. We will concentrate on Torah, the principles of Torah. That means we need to eat right, we need to eat healthy, we need to focus on getting our rest so we can work. We need to have a work. Men need to have a work ethic. Because I see men. You can say men work hard. Now I see a lot of lazy men out there. So I mean, yeah, they read their Bibles, but I don't see them actually working, like getting an education. I think all you gotta do is Google this stuff, man. Our people are suffering from a lack of education. They need to focus. See, our ancestors wanted to have an education. That's why they died. That's why they died for our rights and all that good stuff, so we can have these rights. And a lot of our men, you said, asking, do you want to vote? No. Do you want to go to school? Now, someone would say yes, but a lot of them would say no. A lot of them would drop out. You can look at the inner cities, look at the percentages. I'm a teacher. I teach in the school, so I know this. I'm not just talking to the side of my head. I'm talking for facts. So men need to focus on working in that garden, and then I promise you, everything work out fine. But the problem with men is they don't want to work. They want to be in the pulpit and fighting the woman over, oh, I want to sit in front of everybody and run my mouth. I don't want no woman talking. And let me talk about that. The woman prophesying and praying. Oh, I need to talk about that. That's in 1 Corinthians chapter 11. It says the head of every woman is the man, or the head of the wife is the husband, and the head of the husband is Christ, and the head of Christ is God. Now it says a woman who prays with her head unveiled or uncovered brings shame to her head. Now, who's the head? Her head is her husband. So her job is to cover her husband. Because see, in ancient tradition, when a man shaved off his head, that was a sign of shame. And if you know anything about that part of the world in Asia, when the Buddhist priests, they're here, and then they will go to the Shaolin temple, and they will forget about society, they forget about the world and everything. They forget about their families, everything. That's what it means to do. It's a sign of shame. And what the wife's job really is to cover, make sure her man is not uncovered. Then it talks about if a man, then it says the same chapter, if a man prays with his head uncovered, or if a man prays with his head covered, he brings shame to his head. Who is his head? Christ. Okay. Now, if you know anything about the Old Testament in Numbers chapter 4, the Levite priests used to cover up the most holy things. So what we want is we don't want Christ covered up. In other words, when you pray, you need to pray in the name of Yeshua. Now, if you know anything about what's going on in this country now, a lot of public places, they're not accepting. It's like a down low type effect. People don't want to hear this being hated. The name of Yeshua is being hated. People are praying, but they're not praying in the name of Yeshua. You see that going on in this country we live in. So what Paul is really saying, when a man prays, he should pray. He should not put a covering over his head. He should not cover up those most holy things. And really, to be honest with you, his head should be already covered because his wife is providing that covering for him. So the man's not the covering. He is her head, not her covering. And see, that's another misconception people are talking about. They think they something that they're not. All you got to do is play your position, but you got to know your position first. You got to play your position and play it right and be that head and let your lady provide that covering. And then don't you cover your head up. If you cover your head up, you dishonor your head, which is Christ. So your head is Christ. And understand, how you treat her, you got a boss too. And you got to understand that. So, I mean, you can look at her, judge her, but understand Christ's going to judge you. So we all got a boss. We got somebody we got to answer to. And no matter whether your boss is male or female, it doesn't really matter because when you go to work, you have to show respect to your boss. If you don't, your boss will fire you, male or female. You understand? So, I mean, this thing about men and women and this war going on is really a ridiculous argument because we're not focusing on what we need to focus on. We all need to come together, get on task, or honor Torah, and do what we're supposed to do, and do what God Adonai commands us to do, which is to honor Torah, treat our ladies like we respect our mothers. Because most men don't want you to disrespect their mother. Most men, at least we got that down. Most men don't like you to disrespect their mother. So you need to transfer that over to your wives. That's all I got to say about that.
Ooh. Ooh. For that. Rakam is the word for mercy, if I'm not mistaken, in Hebrew. So Brother Mercy just brought like some fire to the platform. I want to thank you. Definitely, you said some very interesting things. I know I heard Brother Ahwar over there, so I'm gonna come to him. But I just wanted to say that you said some on-point things that, as it relates to the perception of what oftentimes the men are kicking against, and it ties into what Sister Mayanah was saying earlier, is that because oftentimes men are, and the experiences that they're in thought, I'm governing, because really this rulership is a level of governing in the instance that, you know, you don't get to make up these unknown rules. You know what I'm saying? Like, I decree today, you know what I mean? But the governance is one that oftentimes comes with, don't question me, or don't tell me anything, you know. So I like the way that you brought out the point that sometimes what you're being told is for your benefit, and that going to sleep at a good time is definitely beneficial for your health, for your livelihood, and by extension, your family. You understand what I'm saying? So I like the fact that you brought it out, and just for us to look at some of the things that we are actually kicking against, that's helping to keep us out of order, and that those things may be what is unrighteous. But on the other side, you have controlling women who just, maybe it's not 9 o'clock at night, and maybe it's 5 o'clock, and maybe the man wants to go to the store, and maybe she's overly jealous and thinks that he's going to try to get with the clerk. I don't know. You know, so there's definitely another side to it where it may just be some daily activity. And on the other side, because the woman may be insecure for whatever reasons that are existing in their relationship, it causes everything to be out of order. So I just want to thank you so much for that. I heard Brother Ahwar over there. No, wait. I don't think I came to Sister Mayanah. Sister Mayanah, before Brother Ahwar, before I come to you, Sister Mayanah, are you there? Are you good? Sister Mayanah? I don't know if Sister Mayanah is there. All right, we'll come back to Sister Mayanah. Brother Ahwar, you have something to say?
Yeah, I wanted to say this, right? Just to respond back to what the brother said. Well, my lifestyle, you know, I was a truck driver for 15 years. So, you know, I'm used to staying up all night, but when I come home, sometimes I'm off a week, 2 weeks. And when I meet a woman, my slogan is, if I want to go to space, the only thing you need to say to me, do I got a clean space? So the reason why I say that, because I do a lot of stuff. I may wake up 3 in the morning, or a brother call me and go out and teach, or I don't have a clock. That's how I live my life. So you got to be aware that where Satan get in a woman to try to deter you from doing this work. When it comes down to this work, this comes first and foremost. This comes before me. So that's why I said that. A lot of cats I want to go out and teach with, they can't leave the house because mama told them they can't leave the house. And that's out of order to me. A man should be able to. That's what I'm asking. Do you have the liberty to do that? Do you have the liberty, say if you're not working, do you have the liberty to get up and you're going out and your woman say, where are you going? Can you say to her, I'll be back?
No.
A lot of men can't do that. But go ahead, bro.
Yeah, actually, Mayanah's back on the line. A phone call actually dropped, but she's back on the line. Mayanah, you can go ahead.
Oh, okay. So I was going to pass it over to the brothers who got to speak anyway, so I'm okay. It's my turn again. The dialogue to the brothers was very interesting, so I'm glad that I got to be in a cut and kind of do the fly on the wall thing while they did their thing. An interesting question. I would like to answer our brother Ahwar with that. Do you feel like if you're in a marriage and you are going to be away from the home, if your wife has concerns about that, do you feel like you don't need to communicate to her or have her input on whether or not your presence is needed in the home because you want to do something else?
Wait, say that one more time because I missed a couple of words you said.
Do you feel like...
Hold on. And before you continue, do me a favor. I'm still hearing some background noises. I don't know if it's heavy breathing or outside, but do me a favor. If you're not speaking, just press mute on your phone, and, you know, so that will avoid background any background feedback. But I'm sorry, Mayanah. Go ahead.
So I was, and I had a question for Ahwar. One stated that if you wanted to go out, presumably to teach, you stated that you would tell your wife, I presume is the person in that scenario, that you'll be back and nothing more than that. Do you feel as if giving her more information would somehow be a detriment? Like, why wouldn't you explain to her that you're going to go and do this work, that you will return because your presence may be needed in the home? You are the head of that household. You're the provider and the protector of that household, and you are removing yourself from the home to be elsewhere. Do you feel like giving her no information is a wise thing to do? Are you not provoking a response from her?
Right. No, I'm not saying that. I'm like, what I'm saying basically is she knows what I do, okay? If I say I'll be back, she know I'm about this business. I'm about this business. And she know, because I've had many times women get emotional, like, well, I want you, but there's Satan working through them. And you got to be aware of that. With me, with this work, this comes first, okay? And you know that's where you'll help me. It's nothing. I'm going to make sure you can handle, you have things you can handle what I need you to handle, and I can use discretion where I know if it's time for me to stay there or deal with something, whatever. But I'm going to make sure 99% of the time I have everything prepared and ready before I make that move. You know?
So, no, I mean, I was tempted to bring back your analogy of going back to the beginning in terms of what this work is. According to the beginning, your first priority is your home. You're first before you were charged with anything or tasked with anything. You were tasked with the role of husband, so that comes first. The work that comes for anything is your home and your husband duty. Before you can be a priest, a prophet, a king, a leader, or a brother, or anything else, you have to be a good husband. If your wife is saying there are issues in the home that need to be addressed, you cannot go outside and put anything else in order if the home is in disorder, correct? Do you disagree with that in any way?
Right.
Okay.
But I'm saying, like, of course, that's, you can't, like the scriptures say, you can't, how are you going to deal with the Most High's house and your house out of order? I understand that, but I'm saying there's circumstances where women will monopolize try to manipulate the situation and force you to stay, which you got to be abreast of. That's Satan trying to use her to stop doing what you need to do. You have to be aware of that, too, and there's circumstances when that happens. I've seen it 1,000 times. That's what I'm saying.
I hear you, because I've seen that on all those, very intriguing videos with all the people in the outfits and on the street corners complaining bitterly about women asking for attention from their husbands, that this is somehow a serpent ploy to keep them from doing the Lord's work, as if being good husbands is not one of their tasks and responsibilities. Having a wife say, I miss you, I want to spend time with you, spend time with me, teach me, because I find that oftentimes these women don't know what they need to know, because the men have decided that the people in the street are their priorities, and they're not keeping and dressing their garden. Their garden home isn't being kept or dressed because their women don't know the answers to anything. You get into conversations with some of these women who hold the title of wife, and they are, for the most part, regurgitating sound bites from the men they are in relationships with, and it's revealed to be very little more than just sound bites, because if you ask them any questions about what they are parroting, for the most part, they don't know. They will literally say, I need to ask my husband. They can't think past what they said because they didn't ask anything. They don't know anything, but they have to go and be fed the second part of the programming because they don't know. And that's unfortunate that we have men who have decided that their street calling is more important than their home calling. And I won't detract from the necessity of going out and spreading the news or spreading the tenets of Torah and our culture. Those things are obviously extremely important. But everyone that you meet is going to ask you, can I come to your house? Can I see your family? They're going to. Your life is supposed to be your testimony. There's supposed to be a time where you put the text away because you're living those things. Your family, your wife is your reflection. She should reflect you. And if she doesn't look like you, sound like you, talk like you, if I can't take her and say, what does this mean? And she can't answer that because you have given the answers to everybody but your wife, there's still a problem. So I think that those kind of things get overlooked. I think that we were touching, because I have an order of speaking points. I really hate to deviate from my own schedule. That makes me uncomfortable. But
I wanted to touch on some of that, Sister Mayanah, because I think this portion of the dialogue is very important because it is something that we're seeing running very rampant. The thought process, as we're hearing it, that the external is more important than what is happening in the internal. And I think it lends to what Brother Mercy was saying about the need to speak more than to manifest. I know it sounds crazy, but it's all interconnected because in the streets to the people, that position that Brother Mercy was talking about being able to speak and such and such and such, is somewhat easier than cultivating and taking out the weeds and making sure that the home front is good. Oftentimes, this is left to the woman. You understand what I'm saying? So I think this is very important because she is and you are both together. The Most High put you in that space to be responsible and to raise righteous and responsible children. And it takes people who are present. And what happens oftentimes is children, as they grow, along with your wife, will see that everyone else is more important. And this is what we're teaching them because, like Sister Mayanah says, after we have already hooked the fish, so to say, they're going to want to see, what do you do? Do you walk the talk? Do you manifest what you're speaking about? And if it's not there, and that's one of the issues that I find, and then I'll relinquish the mic as it relates to men and women and the way we're doing things, because there is a big hoopla. Where Israel? Everybody come take a look. And when they come through the door, they're like, what in the world is this? You know what I'm saying? What y'all been doing?
That's just true.
You know what I mean? But why is this all jacked up? Because why more time spent into speaking than it is into actually manifesting.
Please.
That when you call people, when people do take notice, they can take notice of your children being different. They could take notice of you're making your own food, you're building your own houses, you're returning to the Most High wholeheartedly, and then you can be a stepping stone as opposed to a stumbling block. And what is happening is too much talk leads to being a stumbling block because there's not enough work happening. So I just wanted to put that in there because it was just a great talking point. Again, I'll relinquish the mic. I heard somebody trying to speak. The mic is yours.
Yeah, I believe that was Brother Mercy. Brother Mercy wanted to join in.
Yeah, I wanted to say something. Oh, man, see, this is the thing. I'm not going to pick on swordsmen. I'm just going to talk about most men. Most men believe it's legal to have more than one wife. So then going back to his example, your wife say, where you going? Well, he feels that he don't have to explain to her where you're going, but he believes polygamy is okay. So, see, I'm looking at that. See, that's why men are liars. I hate to say it, men are liars. And see, that's why the Bible says, let God be true, and every man a liar, because we're just liars. And see, if you really analyze, if I believe polygamy is okay, and I tell my wife that, I believe polygamy is okay. Oh, yeah, I'm going somewhere, I ain't tell you where I'm going. Well, hold on. Those two things don't go together. What am I really going down the street for? Yeah, I know you're going to run your mouth, but you might end up with another wife. I know we men, we going out with good purposes and all that good stuff, but things happen when you without your helpmate. Now, then another point. Look at David. David was out at war, and what happened to his family? The enemy came in and destroyed his family while he was out with King Saul fighting the enemy. And that's what happens to a lot of men. We out at war. We out at war fighting the enemy. But you know what? Our houses, Satan is tearing our houses apart. And the thing is, I keep going back to this point. I mean, it's really bad, especially for African Americans. It's really bad. I mean, it's really bad. So the enemy is tearing up our families. So we can sit up here and say we want to be out on the street because we want to spread the word. No, bro, why don't you spread some of that goodness inside the house? Because your home needs it. And you can sit up and say your home, maybe your house is good, that's great. But I know you got some family members, their house is not right. So, you know, my whole thing is we need to focus more on the family and being that husband, cultivating, you know, being that type of thing. I'm not trying to make rules for men because I know men want to do their own thing. But my thing is like this. True freedom is understanding your purpose. And your purpose is to take care of the Lord's garden. And the Lord's garden wasn't everywhere. The Genesis tells you the Lord planted the garden in the east, and it had one location. It didn't have 1,000 different locations. It had one location. That's the problem with men. They like to be in all these different locations. But they understand they got one address where they get all their mail at. But they want to be everywhere else. My thing is like this. The Lord's garden is your address, brother, where you get your mail at. That's the Lord's garden. It's not out in the street. And if you keep being out on the street, Satan going to walk in your door, and you may say, well, my house is fine. I got security. I got cameras. Yeah, but Satan is tearing our families apart. So I just wanted to say that.
Woo! That's some truth right there. That's truth right there. That's some truth right there. Brother Sal, I gotta take a sip of water up in here or something, because that's some real talk. That's yeah. Brother Sal.
Let me jump in real quick. Once again, this is Debate Talk Radio, the Relationship Challenge. Are men and women out of order? Are men and women out of order? This is the conversation we had right here on Debate Talk Radio. I see we have a lot of people on the phone lines. Again, if you want to chime in, all you got to do is dial that number, 646-716-7320. Simply press number 1 and we'll add you to the conversation. However, if you already called in, you're listening on the phone or via Skype, just press number 1 and we can add you to the conversation. Right about now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to put out a few of the comments out there that's been posted on social media and also in the chat room, and let the special guests address some of these things that you guys are saying on social media and in the chat room. We appreciate you participating right here on Debate Talk Radio. But let me read the first comment that was made, and this comment was made by Truth Ache. What's going on, Truth Ache? How you doing? And this is a comment. It says, when women become more like men then become more like women. The more the sexes become alike, the more out of order both become. I'm reading it again. When women become more like men then become more like women. The more the sexes become alike, the more out of order both become. Water Swordsman, you want to make a comment on that?
Yeah, that's true. Everybody got to play their position, man. All creation have a position. Dogs got their position. Cats got their position. Males have their position. Females have their position. Like he said, when people switch their position, that's confusion. Most I say he's not an author of confusion. That's what I say.
Mayanah?
That's absolutely correct. It's not so much that men and women become alike, but instead they exchange positions. They don't become the same. Once a woman takes on a masculine energy, there's no room for the man to have masculine energy, and unless you are adding masculine to masculine energy, and we know that that's a recipe for an explosion. It never really balances out when there's that kind of unnatural transfer. Instead of looking for egalitarian sort of environments, instead you're supposed to look to be comparable and not equal. And I think that will probably be explored a little later on in the segment. But absolutely, when this balance is disrupted, it becomes corrupted.
Brother Mercy?
Yeah, I think that when the men are not in the homes, a lot of times the woman has to fight Satan by herself, and she ends up getting tricked by the devil. That happens. She ends up talking to a slick-talking serpent. That's what happens when the man is, doing what he got to do elsewhere, or just not doing anything at all. Because, a lot of brothers, what's really going on, is the woman has to take on the role of a man because the man simply is not there. I mean, I just have to say it. We're not there. So if we're not there, then she's by herself fighting the devil alone. So the roles are getting switched because men are not there. So, and when men are not there, somebody has to take up the slack. So that's all I had to say about that.
And Emunah, actually, a call just dropped. Emunah, when you get a chance, just call right back. Again, people, you want to chime in. I see you on social media. Everybody on social media is really tackling this topic. But again, if you want your voice to be heard, you know that number, 646-716-7320. All right, here's the first question. If you're dealing with a disrespectful man or woman, whose fault is it? Do you blame yourself for allowing this person that you've been with for months, years, etc., or is it really the other person to blame? Is the problem low tolerance or high tolerance? All right, let's go with Brother Mercy.
Well, I believe that it depends on what they're arguing about. See, I like the question. It's very general, very vague. You know, it sets up traps. That's a trap question. So the thing is, I would say that since it's a trick question. It depends on what you're arguing about. Depends on who's doing. Because a lot of times with men and women, a lot of times women are yapping about something that the man did. Usually that's what happens. 9 times 10. I'm not saying. I mean, sometimes the man is innocent. They're probably innocent the 10th time, but 9 to 10 times it's probably something they did. This is what I've seen. Now I'm not saying all men are guilty, but a lot of them are. There may be a few of us that are innocent, but most of us are not. So a lot of times that argument starts from the woman don't trust the man because the man has done something. Or vice versa. The man don't trust the woman because the woman might have done something. You know, that can go both ways. So I would say a lot of times when there's a lack of trust, then you have those arguments that start. Because if you trust each other, you have fewer arguments.
Yeah, and I see Sister Emunah is back. I'm going to read the question one more time because I know your call dropped. The question is, if you're dealing with a disrespectful man or woman, whose fault is it? Do you blame yourself for allowing this person that you've been with for months, years, etc., or is it really the other person to blame? Is the problem low tolerance or high tolerance? Emunah?
Sorry about that. My phone just went. Please. Okay. Like Brother Mercy said, there's a lot of components, but to just answer the question based on what I heard, for me the trigger word is disrespectful. So disrespect has to do with the way in which the person is relating to you and your acceptance of the way in which the person is relating to you. So we can't control how people act, but how we can control is how we react to how people act. And we can set boundaries and we can set standards of how we're going to accept this treatment. You understand what I'm saying? So basically you can't force somebody to respect you, but you can also not submit yourself to the disrespect. I hope I didn't confuse you. So basically, if it continues to go on after you have stated whatever your issue is and there is no respect there, if you continue to engage in the conversation or in the relationship in the way that you leave yourself to be disrespected. So ultimately, it's the individual who has to take account for what they do. And like Brother said, it can be short or it can be long, but it really depends on the situation of you having to approach it, express what you express. But if the person still has no respect, you then have to respect yourself and set the proper boundaries going forward.
Ahwar?
Yeah, we got to get to the core of the problem. In most cases like that, this is the problem. This is Ecclesiastes 11, verses 12. The beginning of pride is when one departeth from the Most High, and his heart is turned away from his Maker. When you see a discourse between two people, it's pride on both sides, okay, from the man and the woman. So how do you diffuse that? This is Ephesians 5, verses 20. It says, "Giving thanks always for all things unto the Most High, and the Father in the name of our Lord Yahushua, submitting yourselves one to another in the fear of the Most High." Like if I'm wrong, right, and I have my woman, I know I'm wrong, I did something wrong that she says she don't like. If I fear the Most High, I take that humility on and say, you know what, before I say something or get out of pocket, well, let me examine myself, man. Maybe I'm off. That's what the scriptures allows you to do, that meekness and humility. Let me examine myself. Maybe I'm off what I said to her. A lot of men don't do that. That pride is sitting in, you don't care. You the man, you know, I learned humility solve a lot of problems. Same thing with a woman. A woman could have said something out of pocket to him. If the woman would go, well, wait a minute, let me check myself, maybe I'm off. Then she check herself, then she can come to me, you know what, I was wrong what I said. See, that humility and meekness diffuse anything. when you see contentions, there's pride on both sides. Believe me, I've learned that. There's pride on both sides. That's all I want to say.
Mayanah?
Well, the downside of going last is that everybody says what you wanted to say. Both Emunah and Ahwar gave answers that I think contribute to what the inquirer is asking. If there's some type of contention or disrespect in the relationship, then there is an opportunity to reflect on what's being said to you. Are you being sensitive? Is the person giving you constructive criticism and you are reacting to the way it's being packaged and presented and taking offense at that and not allowing for what's being said to you to take root and give yourself an opportunity to examine, give yourself an opportunity to grow. As Emunah said, if this is a type of perpetual disrespect, then when you then have to reflect on there's a certain degree of I don't need to accept constantly demean. This is for a man and for a woman. It is not productive for a man to continuously be broken down, insulted, humiliated, diminished. He's not going to grow that way. That's not your responsibility. You're not supposed to show him all of his wrong. Instead, you should reflect back to him his purpose and his potential so that he can ascend to what he is supposed to do. Likewise, in your role as a husband, you are to protect her from if she's doing something that she's not supposed to do, rather than ridicule, criticize, diminish, and abuse her in any kind of capacity. You should instead, as the brother Mercy gave you the analogy of removing those weeds. Whatever the obstacles are that are preventing her from being that meet, worthy, suitable, appropriate help for you, then instruct her in a way that is more conducive to your end goal. So in both cases, it's not advisable to accept being disrespected. There's no growth potential there. If you're being disrespected, you're in no way being uplifted. There's no room for nation building. This is a demolition project that is not for the end goal of having a righteous union.
All right, people, once again, it's a relationship challenge out there. If you want to if you have any questions or comments, you know that number, 646-716-7320. Press number 1 and we'll add you in the conversation. I'm just reading some of the comments on social media and the questions on social media as well as the chat room. Another one here that says, name some ways a woman can be out of order. Specifics. Name some ways a woman can be out of order. All right, well, let's go to the men, I guess. Let's go to Mercy. Name some ways a woman can be out of order.
Okay, one way a woman can be out of order is if she's talking to a slick-talking serpent. That's number one. She's out of order because the serpent is talking to her. Now, that's one way she can be out of order, and that's what's going on. They're out of order because we got the enemy fighting our women. And so what's going on is she's talking, getting deceived, because the Bible makes it clear that Eve was deceived. Okay, it says that clearly. So your woman is getting deceived, whether or not you want to acknowledge it or not. And the only way she's getting deceived is because she's the one talking to the serpent. Okay, the men are not talking to the serpent. They're asleep. Because remember, if you read in Genesis chapter 2, God put Adam to sleep, so he's asleep. So while the man's asleep, the woman is having a conversation with the serpent. That's how it's an out of order type deal. It's out of order because the women are out of order because they shouldn't be talking to the serpent. They shouldn't be eating from the forbidden tree. The tree should have been cut down. The man should be working. The man should not be asleep. So the women are out of order. They're out of order because our men, we sleep like Adam.
And let's go to war.
Okay, this is, I'm going to answer with a scripture. This is Ecclesiastes 26, King James Apocrypha, verse 26. It says, it's going to give you the good and bad. Okay, it says, a woman that honors her husband shall be judged wise of all. Then it says, But she that dishonoreth him in her pride shall be counted ungodly of all. So sometimes women have pride and they can dishonor their husband in many facets. Okay, and to me that's a woman that's out of order. Number one, that you disrespect your husband. I really have a thing with that. I think it's do something about spirit. A woman that dishonor her husband. Okay, that's it. Hello? Hello?
Yes, we're still here. Brother Sal, are you still there? I don't know what happened to Brother Sal.
Yeah, can you guys hear me? Okay, you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that was little technical difficulties on my end. Sorry about that, technical difficulties. I tried to get in, but it wouldn't allow me. Let's go to the ladies. Let's go to the ladies of the panel. Same question, and of course we're gonna have to reverse that as well. But let's go with Mayanah. Okay.
But since the person asked for specifics, I'd like to give a more specific answer. The ways in which a woman might be considered out of order is outside of the literal ways that she's out of order. But that's not what you want to know. When a woman compares her man to someone else, that's out of order. When she comes home with the pastor said, the brother said, I don't believe what you said because so-and-so said, that's not order. Your husband is the head of that household, bringing to him the knowledge of someone else or whatever you learned in the streets and trying to bring that home and let that be what rules your household, completely out of order. If you want to share something with him and say, this is what I heard, what do you think about it? Is it something we want to implement in the household? That's one thing. But to say, my pastor said, the brother said, you're absolutely not right on this, those kinds of diminishing his role as head of the household is one of the ways that women can sometimes be out of order when you are not prepared to be vulnerable. When a woman is not prepared to be vulnerable, she's out of order because that means she's not prepared to relinquish control. And that's something that she brings in from what our brother Mercy explained before, that women have, for various reasons, have to be the sole provider for herself and her family or whatever her situation may be. Maybe that was what she saw in her youth. But to bring that into a holy convocation and into a holy marriage and say, listen, I still am not prepared to be vulnerable to you. I don't accept you as my leader and as my head, and that's a problem. That's going to be problematic in the household because her role is to, her desire is supposed to be to her husband. We learn that in Genesis. That's the case. If you cannot do that, you are out of order. And if this is not someone you can feel vulnerable with, then you chose the wrong husband. You don't need to be with him. He is not. That person wasn't suitable for you. You need to be able to trust that man and yield to that man and allow him to do what he is supposed to do. And if you don't do that, then yes, a woman can be out of order in that way. And those are the two ways that come to my immediate recollection. If I find the question on social media, I might be able to give other examples. But those are two, I think, of the most pertinent kind of examples. Women not being able to relinquish vulnerability to her husband and the idea that other people are interfering in the governing of that household. We go get back to Genesis where when we see the judgment against Eve is suitable because what she did was she allowed someone else to interfere in the governing of her family. She was instructed one way, and the serpent told her another way, and she allowed that to interfere with her achad, with her oneness with her husband. So those kinds of interferences disrupt the balance and can lead to a woman being out of order.
All right, Emunah.
Excellent question. And I like the answers this far. You know, the woman is out of order when the man is out of order. It's like the body. The body is in a state of homeostasis, when everything is in its proportion, and once one thing is off, everything else is off. One of the ways that I see often spoken about today is the thought or the assumption that people are going to use Isaiah 3 and 4 to justify and validate the fact that the woman now is supposed to be the primary breadwinner, and the men are supposed to still be in a position of authority and be okay with that. And that's out of order. I believe the Apocrypha speaks about a woman who maintains her husband. This thought is out of order, and this thought also is running rampant in the earth, where it is because of whatever the condition is, whatever the outliers are, whether it be because we're in captivity or because we're in exile or because this is what I have to do, this is what I have to do for my husband. This thought in itself, because she's compensating, because she's stepping into a role, it distorts everything within the household as well as within the relationship, and is rightfully so. So I would say that women are out of order in the sense that not that there's some situations where they have to do that, but that still doesn't mean it's not out of order. So that's my estimation, that's my insertion, and also men who promote this doctrine, men who use it as a crutch to say, oh, yeah, see, look here, go to the book of Isaiah. It says right here, 7 women. That means, you go out there, you work, and you bring me back your IHOP check. That's out of order. That's out of order, and that lends to what Brother Mercy was saying earlier concerning the men's primary function. I know they're not going to like it, is to go out there and by the sweat of your brow you shall eat bread. Because if she's going to bring forth children in travail, then why is she sweating by her brow and bringing forth children in travail? That's a double whammy. What's up with that? You know what I mean? It's like, yo, you work like 12 hours and then you big, fat, pregnant, and he over there talking about, yo, go get me some beer from the store. That's a problem. That's out of order. I relinquish the mic.
All right. Definitely interesting question. And what I'm going to do, for the listening audience sake, of course, we're going to have to reverse that question. And it says, I have to reverse it. How does name some ways a man can be out of order? Let's start with the gentleman. Let's start with Brother Mercy.
Well, I think one way men are out of order is that since they don't want to work on the Lord's garden, the Lord had to put them to sleep. And men are out of order because we are asleep. And the thing is, and while we're asleep, things are happening to us. But one way men are out of order, and it's gotten worse. I'm just starting with Genesis. It's gotten worse than that. Since I'm trying to show you how it started. Men are out of order because they have forsaken the principles of husbandry, like the lady said, the principles of gardening. They've forsaken those basic fundamental principles. And see, like if I have a garden, let's just talk about me. I have a garden, I have grass in my yard, and I hire a young man to come and cut my grass. And this young man, instead of cutting my grass, he started telling me about his life, about his family and all that good stuff. And that's good to hear. But I didn't hire you to tell me about your life. I hired you to cut my grass. Now, after you finish cutting my grass and I pay you, then we could have a side conversation. But what's going on is men really don't understand the basic fundamental. Like when I go to work, I don't go to work so they can hear my opinion. That's not how it works. I go to work with a job description, with a specific job description to do. And if I don't, and Brother Swordsman know this, if you don't do your job out there driving trucks, they're going to fire you. It ain't about your personal life and all that nonsense. The only thing they care about is the bottom line. Did you get the job done? And if you sleep too much, if you sleep on the road while you're driving, then you can cause an accident. So we got to stay awake. We got to stay sober. So I think one of the ways we're out of order, as men are out of order, because we're asleep, we don't understand our function and role. And while we're doing all this, our houses are falling apart. But yeah, men are out of order because they don't want to do the Lord's work, the proper Lord's work. Let me phrase that.
All right, let's go to Water Swordsman. Name some specific ways a man can be out of order.
Okay, here it is. You know me, I'm going to pull the scripture. This is Ecclesiastes in the Bible, 12:13. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear the Most High and keep His commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. Now, that's beautiful because I'm loving that. These statutes and commandments tell you how to do everything perfectly, instruct you just in case you fall short. Like the brother said, man's supposed to work. The Most High gave us a scenario with the ant in Proverbs, I think it's the 6th chapter. It said, look at that little ant. That little ant go out there, don't have a guide, nobody tell him what to do, and go get things done. That's the nature of a man. Man's supposed to get things done. And this Bible teaches, man, if you apply it, how to get things done and be a man. Like I see men, they have children, and they'll put it all on the women. You know, when I was with my kid's daughter back in the day, I loved to take care of my kid. I was beating her and feeding I was doing her duties better than her. And I felt that made me a man, too. I could do my duties, and I could do her duties. You understand? As far as feeding the child and putting the pampers, changing the pampers, taking them to the doctor, I love that stuff. And I just felt complete with that. Some men, they don't believe in that. They pass it to the women. But that's what I was saying. These commandments, that's the most important thing. And if a man don't apply these commandments and statutes and have that fear, you off. You out of balance. You out of sync. That's it.
Mayanah?
Oh, I would agree that the way that men are out of order principally is rooted in a lack of fear. That would have been my answer as well. That what we find is that when there is a lack of order and there's a lack of direction, it's because the men have taken on their own agendas, those things that they are uncomfortable with, the things they are aspiring to, those things that they imagine they're entitled to, and instead of seeking to do what the Most High has required of them, and having the appropriate fear of the consequences of misleading the daughter of the Most High, not understanding their women as the daughters of the Most High and understanding them only in the realm of how they pertain and relate to them. This is my wife, and these are all the things that I require of her, I want from her, she better do, and so on and so forth. So without appropriate fear of consequences for how they deal with their women, how they lead, even their own brothers, I think that that's one of the ways that the men are out of order or can potentially be out of order is when they don't have the appropriate fear and aren't concerned with doing what the Most High has required them to do and required them to pay attention to, and have instead decided to pursue those things that make living more comfortable for them.
All right, Emunah?
All right. Yeah. For me, like everyone is saying, very interesting points. The men, another way that the men are out of order, as we spoke about the women being out of order, is that they pick the wrong women. And they pick the women for different reasons. And oftentimes, they don't have nothing to her with being righteous. You just like the way her skirt look, those spandex look, if she's still in the street. You know, he's clicking it for very low, I like to say vibrational or hind part reasons. And this goes on to now become a problem because he tries to force or govern her, looking for qualities and characteristics that he never cited in the first place. I see our foreparents going long, far, and wide to acquire the accurate, the correct, the right woman for you. And the men oftentimes feel like women are a dime a dozen, like I always like to say, that they find them at the corner store. You know, you can just walk out the street and just blow, oh, man, look, I found another Isha. You know, they just be tripping into them and really not understanding the value of finding the right woman as she will bring health to your bones if it's the right one. But if it's the wrong one, that's cancerous. So men definitely are out of order because they don't understand oftentimes, and this is a generality, not for every single man, but oftentimes they don't understand the value of a good woman.
Can I say something on that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Right quick. Yeah. That was heavy what you said, right? Because, you know, from my experiences, you know, like you got a lot of brothers out there too that they want a wife and they desire a wife so bad that they don't pray for her and they don't wait for her and they make the wrong decisions and grab the wrong ones, and that's where the chaos come in. So I like the way you said that. That was on point.
Well, thank you, brother. Well, thank you very much.
That was definitely real talk. Brothers look at the physical, and they don't look at anything else. You know how they get down. You'll hear that. Anyway, the number 646-716-7320. I see a lot of people on the phone lines. We have thousands of listeners out there that's checking out the Debate Talk Radio. Again, if you have any questions or comments, press number 1, and we'll add you to the conversation. If you're overseas and you're listening on Skype, it's press number 1, and we can add you in. Again, a very powerful dialogue. Are men and women out of order? Are men and women out of order? We have some more questions and comments, actually, on Facebook. Let me see what else we got out here. Matter of fact, this is a comment. It is the woman that holds men accountable. When women allow men to follow the desires of the flesh, Jezebel, society surely falls. That was from Truth 8 once again. Let me see if we have any questions out here. How about those men that are in a relationship and are feeling punked by their wives? Constantly going through aggressive dialogue. Brothers are leaving work but not wanting to go home. How do we deal with that? All right, let's go to the men. Let's go to Brother Mercy. Brother Mercy, are you there? Uh-oh, Brother Mercy, I see you on the phone line. Are you there?
I'm here.
All right, let's go to... Okay. Yeah, did you hear the question? Or I can read it out again.
You read the question one more time. One more time.
Yeah, let me see what it says. It says, how about those men that are in a relationship and are feeling punked by their wives, constantly going through aggressive dialogue? Brothers are leaving work but not wanting to come home. How do we deal with that? Go ahead, Brother Mercy.
Okay. Ecclesiastes 7:29. It says, I discovered that God created man to be upright, but they had each turned to follow their own downward. Another translation says that God has made man upright, but man is gone in search of many things. Now, once man understands that they're going out searching, because men are searching, and what I find interesting, going to answer your question, I have other questions. Why don't you want to go home? It's something going on there. See, it's something I'm not saying always the man's fault. It's not always the man's fault, but a lot of times it is. And the thing is, if you don't want to go home, something's wrong there. See, you're not being honest. That's what men do. See, we're not honest. See, we lie. So going back to what Peter said, he said, let God be true and every man a liar. I love that verse, because once men understand they're liars, then they can start telling each other the truth. What is the real deal while you're gone? And a lot of times women are upset about whatever it is they're upset about. A lot of times, 9 times out of 10 is about something you're not doing or something's not going on. And then, like the sister says, sometimes women need to be submissive. But the thing is, the reason why the women are being argumentative, because the men are out searching. Just like Solomon said, because Solomon had a lot of wives, so he understands what men do. They searching. So, and since Solomon had 1,000 wives, he was searching a whole lot, right? So the thing is, why you don't want to go home? You got to ask yourself that question. Why I don't want to go home? Is it because of her, me? I know you're going to say it's because of her. She's just acting like a bee and all this. But, come on now. It's something you got to look in the mirror. And once men start looking in the mirror, then they can answer the question, and then they can be honest. Because all I hear from that question is, she yelling at me, she arguing with me, but there's a way around it. You can work that out, but you got to be willing to work it out. Just like you work with the people at your job, and you try to work it out with them, because we know how to work things out with people we work with a lot of times. We know how to work with. Sometimes you got to apply some of those skills when you're at home, learning how to get along with people. And I know we men know how to do that, but we just got to learn a better job how to get along with our wives. So to answer your question, we just got to try to find a better way to get along with our women. All right.
All right, well, that.
Yeah, that's a good question, right? And our Father in heaven, He has an answer for everything. Now check this out. This is Ecclesiastes in Apocrypha 25 verses 23 says, a wicked woman abateth the courage and maketh an heavy countenance and a wounded heart. That's what the brother is talking about. I've been there, bro. You sitting there like, I mean, one time I had this rib. I used to wait till she go to sleep, okay? Because some of these women, they have this stuff in their genes from their mothers or whatever. Their mothers have put that bitterness of what they went through in the woman. It's a lot of different circumstances. And I used to wait till this girl go to sleep because she used to just be persistent with trying to make me miserable because she's miserable. Women got psychological problems. There's a lot of different circumstances. I'm going to read it. It says, a wicked woman abated the courage and maketh a heavy countenance and a wounded heart. A woman that will not comfort her husband in distress, maketh weak hands and feeble knees. Okay, so like the sister said earlier, you have to be very skeptical and very particular who you choose as a mate. You got to ask, was anybody in her family in special ed, anybody's in a mental hospital? When you drill these women, and the women as well with men, you got to be thorough before you make that decision to spend your life with them. Because you got a lot of people out here. It's not just that men want to get along with these women, but some of these women look for confusion. It's in their genes. Some of them have bipolar. It's a lot of stuff you have to take into account. So that's just my answer, man.
All right, let's go to the ladies. Let's go to Emunah.
Oh, my goodness. Brother War, you got me laughing over here. I'm over here rolling. But the truth be told, I know you touched on the wicked woman in Ecclesiastes. I thought you was going to touch my scripture, but you didn't, so I'm going to touch that one too. It's Ecclesiastes 26 and 23 in the Apocrypha. It says a wicked woman is given as a portion to a wicked man, but a righteous or godly is given to him that fears the Most High. So it's double edged right there. Get cut two sides, because if a man keeps attracting wicked women, as the brother was saying, this is something that we have to look within ourselves, or the man has to look within himself to see why is it that you are vibrating on the same level to allow this woman who is not righteous to be in your intimate circle. You know, and this is sometimes the man be like, oh, the Apocrypha just cut the other side and say, well, if it's the woman, then it's the man too, because she's your reflection. So, you know, and like he's saying, there's some things that once the man oftentimes gets what he wants, and now the woman is looking for the sustenance, that maintenance, that husbandry, it's like, yo, I already got the fruit, I'm good. And then that becomes a problem. And oftentimes this is the problem, because the goal is, when the two parties are not mature, the goal is different for each one. You understand? And when one is now having expectations and the other feels as though I already got what I was looking for from you, now that's on you, deal with that. You know, I'll talk to you all day and night. You know, it's 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, I'm saying, Shalom, sis, you up? You ready to read? You know what I mean? Now all of a sudden, oh, nah, I don't got time for that. I'm good. You know, I'm like, wait a minute. You know, what's up with the late night calls? Let's say a prayer together. So if it's fronting, then you're gonna get her looking for what you used to do on the back end. So you know, it's just to balance that off. It's not only the woman, and yes, you have to check everybody's background, because we got some crazy, delusional, narcissistic, bipolar men out. You know what I'm saying? We got people standing up thinking they Moshe reincarnated. I'm just saying. So we really have to. You know, I had all coming out the wilderness. Everybody's like, yeah, my name is Dawid. You know, we have this stuff going on. It's us playing superhero on a real serious note. It's us playing superhero, coming out of this muck and the mire and you know, playing make-believe and dress up so that we don't deal with our real issues. And then what happens is you just get with somebody who got a Purim mask on, and the both of y'all doing the Watusi. So that's my thing, you know. And then one day somebody mask drop off, and then the next person is mad. But Sister Mayanah, I'll go ahead and give you.
That was a great question. It yielded a lot of giggles for me, and I appreciate that. Usually our forums are very serious, but there's a lot of laughter this time. But no, the brother's question is very serious, because if you're going to work every day and your home should be a place of rest. Your woman should be a pillar of rest. And I think what I would ask you to do is consider why there's disharmony in your home. because this is the woman that you chose. And whatever your reason was for choosing her, if you're feeling like she's no longer demonstrating those qualities, if all of a sudden, if there's a sudden change in her, then maybe instead of not going home, go home, sit her down, and ask her what's wrong. Because if she was not that way when you found her, and she's suddenly very upset, she doesn't feel heard. She's probably feeling neglected. She's looking for ways to communicate with you, and she's doing it in a very, very toxic and maladaptive way. So rather than running away, be the lead in that and take control of that. Say, okay, what's going on? That's your house. Put it all in order. If your wife is out of order, your house is in disharmony, you not going home is not going to fix that. And a woman, unless she's wicked and crazy in the way that the war described so colorfully, unless she's, crazy, you should be able to reason with her and find out what's at the root of her disagreement with you. And if it's just a matter of she feels like you're neglecting her, and this is just want to study with you and spend time with you, or maybe you're showing attention in other places. Going back to the original setup, we talk about the man having to dress and keep his home. When you neglect your garden, things die. You can't say, I can't, whenever I go to my garden, everything is dead. No, if you didn't water it, if you didn't keep it, if you didn't weed out the weeds from the garden, then you're gonna go back to a mess every single time. So if other gardens look great, it's because of the work that husband has put into his garden. You go home and tend to your garden out, and prayerfully you will get the kind of results that you need to find the peace that you deserve, if you deserve it.
Can I say something?
Yeah, go ahead.
After she's finished? Okay, after she's finished? Okay. I was going to say, some people's grass are greener than others. And the thing is, I tell some of my male friends, if you think my grass is greener than yours, I'm going to tell you what makes the grass green, and that's cow manure. And see, the thing is, what a lot of people don't understand is that you have to be home to work on your home. And if you're not home, you can't work on your home. And a lot of people, they look at the other grass, the neighbor, that yard, that's nice grass over there. But the thing is, that neighbor has done some things to make their grass look green. Some people use artificial grass. Some people use turf and all that type of stuff. So the thing is, you got to know the whole story. And a lot of people, they're looking elsewhere, comparing themselves to elsewhere, not understanding that what goes into what makes things look certain ways. And I was going to talk about Romans chapter 3, verse 4 real quick. It says, of course not. Though everyone else in the world is a liar, God is true. As the scripture says, he will prove right in what he says, he will win his case in court. So God is going to win his case in court. And hopefully your court case won't be in divorce court. Because, see, this is the thing. A lot of men don't understand they're going to end up in divorce court if they don't catch some of these principles. And that's what's going on, man. We got over 50% divorce rate. And, so it's pretty bad. So the thing is, these men, I'm not blaming all the men, but I'm just saying women need to do some things too. But at the same time, you got to stop looking at everybody else's yard and comparing yard there. You just need to be at home working your grass. And then maybe your grass will look a little greener and maybe look a little better if you put a little cow manure in your grass. All right? There you go.
All right, we have like 27 minutes on the air, and I see we have a lot of people, again, dialoguing on Twitter, on Facebook, inside the groups, and I appreciate you guys tuning in live. And some people actually sharing it on their personal page. We appreciate you creating awareness of Debate Talk Radio tonight. Let me see what other questions we have here. Let me see, this is a Twitter question. Let me see. How do we deal with a man or a woman in a relationship that is verbally out of order? All right, verbally out of order. Let's go to Mayanah.
I'm trying to figure out what that means. I guess as opposed to abuse, maybe.
I guess they mean getting cussed out or something like that. I guess. Huh?
Well, yeah. Listen, understand this, and I think this isn't said enough, or maybe it's said in very weird and particular ways, but words are spirits, okay? So what a person says to you does matter. You take into consideration that the way the Most High brought all things into creation was simply by speaking things into being. So it is no light matter for someone to speak down to you or to be verbally abusive. Somewhere on these speaking points, I wanted to address that both men and women have a tendency to use very loaded terminology to disarm the other person. You know, we like to very haphazardly and without any responsibility or accountability throw around words that don't even mean what they're supposed to mean. Like you hear Jezebel thrown around just as a way to diminish the person. It doesn't even mean anything. Jezebel is an actual person, and yet you get this, quote, Jezebel spirit, unquote, that doesn't exist. And that concept had all these things attached to it that show no semblance at all to who Jezebel was according to Scripture. So there's just basically you have someone who obviously doesn't know Scripture using someone inappropriately in Scripture just to make you feel bad about yourself. The word feminist gets thrown around, which just kind of clues you into people don't know what the word feminist means. So it's just like, you know, a real good platform for all the people who need more time and vocabulary and study, because they're just misusing words. Because words are spirits and they're trying to hurt you. Where that's the case, this is an abusive situation where women who decide that they don't like to hear what the man is saying and they want to be offended when they're being duly and correctly criticized or corrected, that person is unfairly called misogynistic because you don't like what you heard. And we use these kind of loaded terminologies and these trigger words to affect an emotional response because we can't deal intellectually with what's going on and we can't handle things maturely, so we want to attack one another. This is not conducive. This is not intelligent. This will yield nothing but chaos. And if you're in that kind of relationship or conversation, and this is something that will not serve you, you should immediately diffuse that kind of conversation. If this is a husband or wife, then you combat ignorant spirits, ignorant words with intelligent ones. You will combat hostility and toxicity with righteousness and purity of mind. So you don't feed negative spirits with negative spirits, and that's what words are. So if you're in a verbally abusive environment, then it's best for you, if you can diffuse it, you should diffuse it. If you cannot diffuse it, you should remove yourself from that space until you are able to handle the consequences of being in such an environment.
All right, Sister.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay, so just for clarity, thank you for that, Sister Mayanah. The question is about verbal abusive situations, Brother Shaw?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Verbally out the order. How you do the Jamaican version? Out the order.
Yeah. Definitely. It's one that is very difficult. I think Brother Ahwar alluded to it. Depending on your communication style of the household you grew up in, I can't say that it's across the board because different people have different temperaments. But one thing that is sure across the board is that when you at least come to the realization that this is out of order and that this is abusive, take a step back. Because for me, it's an examination. Oftentimes, we run up on somebody and be like, yo, this is wrong. And then we don't completely understand why it's wrong. And then we end up trying to do to them what they have just done to us. And that's what, especially if you have a contentious person on whether it be male or female on the other side, they're going to, it's a lot of personality issues going on. They're going to pull you in and then try to make it look like it's your fault, which is going to further frustrate you if you're actually honestly trying to address the situation. And so disengage, you understand what I'm saying? And then when you have gotten your wits about you and you can really communicate what it is that you're saying, do so. Because oftentimes when you go to a disrespectful person, the fact that they're disrespectful means they're probably not going to hear you. So you have to be prepared to probably be dissed again. But in this space, you're not really looking for, oh, I'm so sorry, I can't believe I did you. Because most times you're not going to get it. I'm a realist. You understand? So when you're saying what you're saying, it's like you're now setting the boundary for yourself, and you're not playing this kind of manipulation game where it is now it's a tug of war. You understand? So definitely try to diffuse the situation. If you don't know what, diffuse means, pull yourself out of it. Don't go into spaces where you're going to have to contend in that way. Try to have some self-discipline, govern your spirit, and then when you understand what it is that you want to declare it, you declare it in a way, and whether it is received or not received, when you go forward, you already know that you put that on the table. No storming out, no banging doors, no breaking stuff, no flinging yourself on the floor. That's baby tactics, and sometimes that's what we do. This is what we do to control situations. So definitely, like Sister Mayanah said, spirits, don't let that stuff go down into your spirit. Because oftentimes when you're with a disrespectful person, they're trying to break you down so that you're easily controllable. And once you understand that game, understand what it's about, and if you are or were that codependent person or that person was easily dependable, you have some internal work to do. This is just it's just the tip of the iceberg, so that's what I would say to that. You're really going to go on a journey to find out how you attracted this individual in your life and why it is that, for whatever reason you got in this situation to begin in. Because if you don't do that, I'll leave it at this. If you don't do that, you'll leave that situation and end up in something worse. So I hope that helps.
The water swordsman, that.
Right. What we definitely have to take in consideration as well is this, that we are cursed. We're cursed. Okay? This is Deuteronomy 28, verse 54. So that man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eyes shall be evil toward his brother and toward the wife of his bosom. So this is where a lot of the hatred, the cursing out, the breaking people down and giving them destroying their confidence is coming from this curse that we've been affected with from our father for being disobedient. So I'm going to read it again. It says, so that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eyes shall be evil toward his brother and toward the wife of his bosom and toward the remnant of his children which he shall live. Also, our sisters, we've been affected. This is the 56th verse. It says, the tender and delicate woman among you, which will not adventure to set the sole of her foot upon the ground for delicateness, because this was the nature of our sisters. Real timid, beautiful, humble, that's been destroyed because we've been plagued, by the Father. The tender and delicate woman among you, which will not adventure to set a sole of her foot upon the ground for delicateness and tenderness, her eyes shall be evil toward the husband of her bosom. This is where the contentions are coming from. Then it says, and toward her son and toward her daughter. So how do we fix that? How do we get this curse reversed in our houses? How do we start rehearsing to reverse these curses? Here it is again. This is Ephesians 5, verses 21. 20. Giving thanks always for all things unto the Most High and the Father in the name of our Lord Yahushua, which they call Jesus Christ, submitting yourselves one to another to the fear of the Most High. So you got to go in the Bible and understand, well, let me do what the scriptures say. That's the fear. And it says this. This is 4, verse 29. Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth. So put that in your mind when you with your wife. You said, I'm not going to, we're going to talk, we're going to have disagreements, but let's keep it very civil and honorable. Let's not down each other. Let's dialogue to get understanding. Let's not go at each other, because all that is we're going back into the curse. We want to come out of that curse. That's all I want to say on that.
And Brother Mercy.
Yeah, I wanted to say that we've been verbally out of order since the beginning. And one thing, we've been out of order, the man thinks his job is to give names. And men have been giving names to people for a long time. Like Abraham. Actually, Adam named his wife, and he gave her the name Eve. Abraham's wife's name was Sarah. That name means contentious. Their parents named their child contentious. So, I mean, to me, that's problematic to a degree. I think some of us are giving names to our children that really makes no sense. And the thing is, we think that's our job to give names. And the thing is, God had to change. If you know, look at the story, God had to change each one of their names. He had to change both Abraham and Sarah's name. So you see, and God changed Jacob's name. He always changed people's names. You look at the Bible, he always changed people's names. The names that their parents gave them, he's always giving them a different name. So I see here, that's verbal out of order. Now understand that man is not supposed to give you your name. Men are calling each other dogs. We giving each other names. So then we act like dogs because we called each other, hey, dog, what's up? So now you act like a dog because that's what your man is calling you. You call that man your friend. And so the thing is, I told my man, look, you call me dog, you're not my friend because I'm not no dog. I'm not wagging my tail, and I'm not eating out of no, I don't have no master feed, all that good. See, that all plays a role, and people think it's all fun and cute and games, but it's not. People giving you names when they should not be naming you. So that's verbal out of order. You're calling your ladies, we look to this music on the radio, we calling our women bees, that type of thing. And so when you got that type, I think that's how verbal out of order. We giving each other names that don't fit us. So I just say that.
Yeah, you gotta blame that dog stuff on DMX though, man. DMX part of that. Gotta blame it on DMX, bro. But the number 646-716-7320. What I'm gonna do? We only have like 14 minutes on the air, man. Okay, well his call actually just dropped us now. But Mercy, do you have any questions for the ladies on the panel right now? Anything that you want to ask them or address on this particular topic? You can do that right now. And when the war comes back, of course, I'll bring them in the conversation. It's going to be vice versa. Any questions you want to ask each other? Let's start with Mercy. Any questions you want to ask the ladies? Go ahead.
Okay, I have a question for the ladies. Do you have any solution? We talked about the problem a lot, and I wanted to know, do you have any solutions to the problems our people is facing?
I'll go. This is Emunah. Like you said, we talk about solutions. I mean, we talk about problems a lot, but I'm also a solution-oriented individual, and I'm going to say what I always say. It starts with the one, and it starts with healing. It starts with awareness. And each individual, as we're asking these questions, oftentimes we're asking them to see how we can fix the other person, how we can help the other person, how we can bend the other person to better suit our ideals and thoughts. But when we take that same energy and turn it inward to see where within us needs fixing, what within our mentality can be better, when we do those and begin to heal our traumas, like Brother Ahwar said before he dropped, is that the reality is we are coming out of a curse state, curse meaning just negative energy. So when we read through the curses, it's a taking away, it's a negative energy, it's a subtraction of health, it's a subtraction of wealth, it's a subtraction of stability. And so when we move towards what is positive, the first and foremost thing is that we have to be humble, as was noted, and we have to come before the Creator, because this was our first offense. Our offense was against universal principles that the Most High set in order for us to be in order. And so we're all out of order once we step away from universal principles of the Torah. So a simple solution is to be real, to get real. And if you're not 100%, don't go around wearing a mask. Don't go around being a stumbling block for others. Be honest. It's like, it's kind of crazy, but it says, the unmentionables, or the person who was in a state, they had to let it be known. I'm Nada, I'm unclean, whatever the case may be. This is to alert someone else. But what's happening in this day and time is that we're being masked, and we're walking around like we're all well and we're all good, and not telling the truth until it's too late. Not saying that you have issues that's in your family, or you have mental issues, or you have personality issues, when no one is saying these things right off the front. So, again, my solution-oriented is to get to really know yourself and stop playing games, and be 100% honest and go on that healing journey so that you can then attract the right mate that you're looking for, or help the one that you're currently with to see you step into what the Creator has for you. So definitely that's my 2 cents. And it's a long process. It's not something that happens overnight, but definitely we need to be realistic about what needs to be done.
Well, for me, you can hear me. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay. Well, for me, I would say I think that Emunah's suggestion is amazing and correct. Obviously the best thing to do in the truth is tell the truth. It seems very simple, but it's a very important concept. I would add to that accountability is an important thing, and I think that she alluded to that quite a bit in her answer. At the top of the program, I said that this issue of being out of order in many cases is a literal thing. We are literally out of order. We don't follow the basics of nature. We're doing things in a way that is unnatural. Women are not coming in as daughters, they're coming in as wives, and that's a problem. It's wildly problematic to try to take on a role that you are not prepared for. A way to resolve these issues in the home and establish harmony is for these women to first have relationships with the Most High, to have an identity first. You do not walk into someone's home with no sense of purpose, no idea. We have all of these posts from all of these women who are saying, oh, I can't wait for my king come to teach me. So basically they're walking around completely empty vessels waiting for someone to fill them up. And this is not the way that any of our foremothers conducted themselves. They were properly raised as young women. They were born into daughterhood. They understood their relationships with the Most High. Sarah, we talked about Sarah, we talked about Abigail, we talked about, I don't know if we got a chance to talk about Rebecca, but when we look at all of our ancestresses, these were women who already understood their own Hebrew identity, and they were not waiting to be given one. There's absolutely no way for you to be a worthy, suitable, fit, and appropriate person for a woman, for a man, if you have nothing to contribute, if you are absolutely no one to begin with. So I would say the solution for women, being a woman, I'm going to address that first, is for women to understand their roles. If you do not know your role, you obviously cannot conduct yourself in a role that you don't understand. You need to be a daughter. You need to understand your sister role, which will teach you how to love someone outside of yourself, to learn cooperation. Your sister stage corresponds to the stage where young people are attending school and creating peer relationships. So you're learning the things that you need to learn. Your woman stage where you are learning the things that are unique to womanhood, so that you're prepared to be in somebody's household, so you know what to accept and what not to accept according to Torah. Not according to what you were told, not according to what was read to you, but according to what you know is true. And by the woman being in order, she's able to reflect back to him what he needs to aspire to. I can't tell a man how to be in order. I think they'll be out of order for me to tell a man how to be in order. But I know the Torah outlines exactly what a man is supposed to do, what his natural stages are. And he should speak to other men who are in that process, and they go together to become the kind of men and husbands and leaders that they're supposed to be.
All right, War's back. I see you call back in. Yeah, War, you probably missed it, but guys are going to be asking each other questions. So, do you have any questions you want to, for the ladies on the panel right now? Any questions you want to, put out there for the ladies on the panel? Okay.
Oh, yeah, I got a question I wanted to ask. In my journey, I've found, I'm going to give you a situation where you have relationships where a man may be weak in an area, but that area he's weak in, the sister might be strong or vice versa. And instead of the sister being one with him and her strength become merged with him and that become one strength, she kind of scrutinizes him about it, and that I see that cause a lot of chaos. So how would you sisters deal with that? If you had a man that have shortcomings in certain areas where you have strength, how would you communicate that with him or deal with it where y'all become one in that weakness? I'm just curious about that.
That's a good question, Brother Ahwar. Because I think a sister alluded to it earlier that actually she spoke on it earlier that oftentimes the woman is looked at to, for lack of a better word, I have to draw from a patois dictionary, pet and powder, right? The woman is looked to pet and powder the man. So he's weak in this area. I don't want to talk about it too much. I'm just going to fill in right there. But if this is not reciprocal, if this is just expected, if it is expected for her to acknowledge that but not to call it out for the sake of his ego or his masculinity, but on the other side, the respect is not there. So basically, I'm going to use you, give thanks for the solid, and then I'm still going to pretend. You see, there's a lot of things in that equation that could make it why it was what it was. Not necessarily, I acknowledge my weakness, but I'm just going to use you in this area, and now I'm jumping back on top, and I'm the boss of you. And then the woman is looking like, oftentimes the woman's looking like, wait a minute, didn't I just help you? All of a sudden she disappears. She doesn't have any name. She doesn't have any face. So there's so many different elements in this equation. I've seen it. And women are like, okay, the scripture tells you, everybody likes to go to Proverbs, she's due her honor. And so if it is not reciprocated, not for her to be out there like, yeah, I'm the one who taught, but if you don't honor her and you don't respect her, and as you did say earlier, I'm going outside, that's what it be, and then you turn around and be like, you're supposed to be there for me and like it. It don't kind of work like that. It has to be a level of reciprocity, a level of respect that goes both ways, honoring that goes both ways, so that she doesn't mind doing it. It's not something that you demand of her or require that she does it, and if not, she's a wicked, unruly woman. You understand? Because we're all human beings. And so when we do things, we expect a certain level of respect coming back. And oftentimes, even though the man may be weak in an area, it's the expectation that he doesn't reciprocate that causes her to feel indifferent. Women are very strange. But yet still, if you get to understand how she moves and why she moves, then she'll be easier to be able to deal with. And so that's just one of the things that I see is that oftentimes men just want to take they don't want to give honor where honor is due. So that's my search. Sister Mayanah, you can take the mic.
Thank you for that. I think that's a great question. And you might be interested to know that women have that same question. I actually had sisters ask me that question within the week along that same vein. Sisters wanted to know how is it that they can approach a husband or it seems that in many cases that in their families the man expects the woman who may know or be talented in particular areas to dumb down to accommodate his ego or his sense of masculinity. And this idea that masculinity in the Hebrew community is so fragile is rather problematic, and I think that needs to be addressed. But to answer your question more directly, I think that I'll just tell you what I told the sisters. In the case where a woman has comparable or due to better access to opportunities for a variety of reasons, from effort to favor, superior traits, then in a marriage that will require her to submit to the leadership by relinquishment, which means that she's going to have these talents and still maintain the sense of her inequity of headship in that household. The way that she can properly do that is to kind of reorder the way that she presents that particular skill. Instead of it's not really dumbing it down, but a woman doesn't have to squirrel away her assets. Instead, she changes their role. Rather than being the credentials for headship, like she's better than him, so these would be the credentials for headship. They are the best and most reliable weapons in the arsenal that the head depends on for having at his disposal. So if that's not totally clear, it means that instead of her flaunting that I'm better at this, I can do this thing that you cannot do, it becomes reimagined as the asset the indisposable weapon of the head of that household. Because you have me on your team, you have this amazing tool at your disposal. And instead of her saying this is the thing that makes me the head or somehow a superior person in this dynamic, she is the one that secures the head of that dynamic, if that makes any sense to you. And what makes that something that he will continue to be able to rely on in the future is exactly what your sister has already said to you. Once you say, okay, I appreciate you. I know that when I was working, I had a supervisor that religiously took credit for everything that I did. When I proposed something, it was completely unacceptable until a month later, and it was her idea. It was the most brilliant contribution to the company. And I remember taking her boss aside and saying, listen, if you're not going to give me cash, at least give me credit. All right? Because I know that I said that. You know that I said that. And if you're not going to pay me for my ideas, at least credit them to me. So if she's not going to be the head of that union, and it's a talent that's hers, at least acknowledge her so that she can continue to contribute to it. In the same way that you don't expect a vehicle to go without gas, you don't expect flowers to grow without water, you cannot expect a woman to still be able to be vulnerable to you, contribute to you, participate in her role if she's not being reciprocated, as the sister said. So that would be my answer to that. If a woman can contribute to the household, she should do it in a way that is understood that she has become the asset instead of the leader.
All right. So, ladies, any questions for the men on the panel? You can go ahead.
Yes, I have a question.
No, it's like getting the golden ticket to the chocolate factory. I can't even. I have so many questions for the men. But you go ahead.
Oh, we're on the very same topic. Why is it that men often, especially in this way, and I know it has a lot to do with the doctrine and what Brother Ahwar alluded to with the negative vibration that's around the relationship, why is it that men have expectations of, as we've been speaking about all night, have expectations that do not meet the situation? Like Sister was just saying, Sister Mayanah, okay, you didn't water it, you didn't feed it, you didn't grow it, you didn't weed it, but you expect for just come in and just let go. Why do men have these unrealistic expectations, and very high ones at that, of women, but yet little oftentimes of what they're supposed to be putting in to, let's say, secure or make those expectations kind of accurate or valid? But so that's my question.
Oh, good. The brother can go. I'll go after him.
Okay. I'll answer that question. All right. Now, the reason why men have unrealistic expectations is because they like to watch TV and they think TV is real life. Like, for example, some men, we watch the Cosby Show as usual growing up. We look at the perfect, Cosby Show, quote unquote, is the perfect, black family. Most men probably want that picture. They want a wife, a beautiful family, and those type of things. But Bill Cosby in that show was a doctor, which means he did like extensive college and university study before he became a husband. So, I don't think men see the full picture. They just see Cosby, but they don't see him. But of course, it's a show. It's not real. That's another thing. But we know how Bill Cosby really is in real life, but we don't talk about that. But the point is, this is a show, and on this show, this man portrays a medical doctor, and his wife is well educated as well. She's a lawyer. So, what I see, and the reason why men have unrealistic expectations of women, is because they, like I said earlier, like you just stated, is because they don't put the work in, and they expect things. They expect a result that results from hard work. So it's like you expect a result from hard work, but you don't want to work hard. So it's that type of deal that's going on with a lot of men. I used to have it too. Like when I was, my dad, my mom and dad married for like forever. And so my daddy tell me all the time, son, if you want a woman like your mother, you got to put the work in, son. I was like, what are you talking about, Dad? My daddy tell me to go out. Son, why don't you go out and cut the grass? I cut the grass, and he tried to show me how to cook. But see, I didn't want to learn how to cook. My dad told me, he said, son, you learn how to cook. I'm telling you, man, it'll work for you. But, I thought that was a woman's place to be in the kitchen. So, but Dad's older than me, so he should be more traditional than me, but I'm traditional. But it was a crazy situation. That's how men are, though. That's how we are. I had this old way of looking at stuff, but I'm young. And so my dad is older than me, but he has another way of looking at stuff, and he's seeing things that I can't see. He's telling me, trying to teach me how to cook so I can, X, Y, Z, A, B, C. And then he told me something. He said, because a lot of men in my generation didn't want to cook for their ladies, and they looked at me differently because I cooked for mine. But a lot of my male friends are not with their ladies anymore. But I'm still with your mother. So, he just says some basic things. He said, I'm not perfect, son. I made a lot of mistakes. But, there's some things I'm good at, and I just do what I'm good at. And so sometimes we men just need to do what we're good at. My dad was good at cooking. He did a lot of cooking in the house. So I think that might have saved their relationship. Because my mom and dad had a lot of fights. I never saw them, but they had a lot of fights. But at the same time, my dad would cook dinner, and so that would kind of calm things down a little bit, I guess, sometimes. I don't know. But anyway, to make a long story short, I would say this. Men, my dad has a garden too. My dad he grows gardens in the backyard. He grows tomatoes and cucumbers and stuff like that. Yeah, go back to my garden example. Yeah. But anyway, and so he's a cook where he grew. And so, he's a hunter too. He went out hunting and he killed, and then when we ate what he killed out. So he took me out hunting with him, and he ate, we ate what we worked for. So I think that principle is lost. So the reason why, I looked at my mother, she's a great wife, and my mother was a great wife, but the thing is, I think my dad got her because he put the work in. I don't know. Maybe he was a gardener. Maybe that's why. I don't know. But, the church, it's something else. The church says we should pray, right? That's what it tells us to pray. Yeah, you should pray, but you also should work too. So I think that the reason why I may have unrealistic expectations is because they don't work hard for the result that they want.
All right, thank you so much for that, Brother Ahwar. Why do men have unrealistic expectations? I like that because that's been the theme of the night, Brother Ahwar. Did you have anything to add to that? Why do men have unrealistic expectations? And is expecting what you didn't put there kind of like stealing?
You know what it is? It's one word. They call that pride. And I learned about pride, right? Pride has so many components to it. It make you dumb. It make you blind. It make you delusional. It give you a very a whole bunch of different negative emotions in that one name. And that's why, I look at that, man, like for instance, men will look at women that they, that's beautiful or whatever, got their stuff together, and they think that they can get that. But you got to remember, what make you think she's going to want you? You don't have yours together. You got to offer her something or take care of her. You got to be better than her. That's how I see it. I mean, a lot of brothers get mad when a woman says she want a man that have something. I don't get mad at that no more because, that's a good thing, man. You work hard or you feel you deserve things. There's nothing wrong with you. And a lot of men, they're delusional to that. Like, here, you live in the projects and your shirt smell like stink, and then you think you're going to get something and you ain't put in no work for it, or you don't put in no work, period. That's where the delusion come in with a lot of us. That's true. Or like you said, what you said, the whole question. That I see a lot of sisters, they be really on point, and the man be slagging and he can't even see it, and then he still got that arrogance like he on point too. That's pride to me. But that's it.
Thank you so much for that. Thank you for your honesty. This is like, y'all must have took some truth serum before we came online. This is some straight up honesty. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. Sister Mayanah, do you have some questions for the brothers at this point?
I do have a question, but before I ask that, I really wanted to extend my gratitude and my appreciation for, like what you said, the honesty and the transparency that these two men are demonstrating for us. Right now, this is the kind of thing that we ladies don't often get to see, so I think that it deserves a moment of appreciation. So I wanted to first give them that before I ask my question, which is, what would you say is the investment that some men have in misrepresenting the narratives of the scriptures? Why is it that men are seemingly deliberately misrepresenting the contributions of women to our cultural narratives? Do they not understand that by not permitting and allowing good examples for the women to emulate, that they necessarily impede the possibility of these women becoming the kind of women you need to rebuild the nation? What is the investment in keeping that veiled from them or misrepresenting it altogether?
You go ahead, bro. Hello?
Yeah, Brother Mercy, you there?
Yeah, you can go ahead.
Yeah, I don't see he's there, but go ahead, Ahwar. He's not answering. Go ahead, Ahwar.
Okay. You know what, like I said, that humility and that meekness, I made a lot of mistakes in this walk due to ignorance, due to, I soaked up a lot of men's bitterness that they had in their relationships, and they coded it in the work, in the Bible. Okay, being the deeds with my leaders, I listened to them, and it affected me in my relationships, and it put a pride in me, and I was making a lot of dumb mistakes, and they taught us, somebody with their bitterness towards women incorporated in the teaching, and now every woman we would see, that's why if you look at a lot of Israelite brothers, their conversation, they want to pass the buck, blame it on a woman. Yeah, but what about you, man? Because remember, if Adam would have never took heed, that wouldn't have happened. So it always comes back to you, Adam. And I've learned to take that humility and really examine sisters for the greatness of they're talked about in the scriptures like this. This is Genesis 27, verse 15. It says, and Rebekah took goodly raiment of her eldest son Esau, which were with her in the house, and put them upon Jacob, her younger son. And she put the skins of kids of the goats upon his hands and upon the smooth of his neck. And she gave the savory meat in the bread which she had prepared into the hand of her son Jacob. And he came unto his father and said, my father. And he said, here am I. Who art thou, my son? Well, it's a long story, but our mother, our great-great-great-grandmother took the initiative to do that, which got us that blessing, which was beautiful. So we have to respect and honor the great things that the sisters did in the Bible, and we were taught from men's hang-ups and things they went through. It got sucked up with this knowledge, and we took that on. That's why you see a lot of bitterness with brothers, with the sisters, because that's somebody's bitterness that taught them and added, incorporated in the doctrine. So when I started reading for myself, I said, wait a minute, man, sisters is beautiful, man. And I came to humility. I'm not like that. But that's all I want to say.
I really appreciate you for giving that answer. Thank you, brother.
Yeah, Brother Mercy,
Hello?
you there? Okay, there you go.
I'm here. I'm here. I was going to say that I think men do it ignorantly. I think men just don't know what they're supposed to do. So when a man don't know what he's supposed to do, he normally do something stupid. And that's really what it is. Men just don't want to admit it. They just don't want to admit they're dumb. And see, once you admit you're a liar and you're stupid, once you just agree with the scripture, see, I've learned to just agree with the Bible says about me. Boy, you a liar, So if I just start telling the truth and say, you know what, maybe God is right, and maybe I'm the liar in all this. So I think they do it ignorantly. I think a lot of these men that teaching these scriptures, they think they know. They really think they know what they're doing. They really think they know what they're saying and all this stuff. But a man that tells you the truth is a man that says that he's a liar, and God is the only one to tell the truth. But any man that tells you anything different than that, they're liars. If a man tells that God tells the truth, and we all liars, only one to tell it. So if he ain't tell you something that comes from thus saith Adonai, then I wouldn't trust it. And if he's not being guided by Adonai, I wouldn't trust it. But what a lot of men are doing, they trying to fake the funk, they trying to pretend all this nice stuff. But then all you got to do is sit down and talk to a man one-on-one. That's what I do. I talk to a man one-on-one. I'm a man myself. I talk to him. I say, bro, so you believe X, Y, Z, right? Yeah. And I'd be like, okay, so do you believe you always tell the truth? Yeah, I always tell the truth. I say, see, you're lying. You're lying. You don't always tell the truth because the Bible says it. You don't tell the truth. So once you tell the truth, and one thing about telling the truth, you got to understand this. That woman you with, and if you believe God gave her to you, she's there to help you. If that's what you believe. If you believe that, she's there to help you. And a lot of our women have done things, have done roles they're not supposed to do. But to answer your question, I think we just need to, only thing we need to do is do what we're supposed to do. I think if we do what we're supposed to do, I think that it will solve a lot of problems. I just really believe so. I really believe we men try to get our stuff together to start being honest, being truthful, and I keep talking about Adam and Eve. Even the last show when I talked about polygamy. See, this is why the women don't trust you to stay out all night. See, this is the problem because you already told her that you believe polygamy. So see that just. Right there, see, I see problems already. And brothers are honest, and I like brothers being honest, but at the same time, you being honest, but at the same time, that creates a problem. Now we got to make rules for you because you don't understand what your purpose is. And so I'm against rules. I don't like a lot of rules. I don't like a lot. But if you don't understand what your purpose is, we got to make rules. And what's going to happen is the state going to throw you in a cage. And that's what's happening to a lot of brothers. A lot of brothers getting locked up because they don't understand their purpose. And that's really what's going on. We really be honest. So if we be honest and we love one another and just be honest, try to love our sisters and, try to do a better job, I think we'll be fine. But like you said, I think it's ignorant. I think men just don't know. That's all.
All right, so we winding down. What I'm going to do, though, I'm going to have the brothers ask each other questions and the sisters ask each other questions as well. And after that, I'm going to pretty much go to the phone line, see if anybody want to ask any quick questions or comments. Again, I see we have a lot of people listening on the show via phone and via Skype. If you're new to the show, you have to press number 1, and then we'll add you in the conversation. Other than that, I'm going to pretty much wrap it up. But let me see. Brother Merce, you have any questions you want to ask Brother Ahwar?
Yeah, I do. Brother War, do you agree that the first job of a man is to take care of the Lord's garden, or do you think it's fighting with Satan? Or whatever. What do you think the first responsibility of a man is? I just said it.
Of course, taking care of the Lord's garden, because if you don't do that, you can't really tell how you have to fight with Satan. I guess the fight comes when you're taking care of the garden. The fight with Satan, it comes when you're taking care of the garden. That's when he started his war against you. So I think that's priority.
Hey, let me ask you another question. Do you think a lot of men out here are liars?
Oh, yeah. You're looking at one. You're speaking to one. I'll be a liar to say I'm not a liar.
All right, Ahwar, you have any questions for the brother? Any questions for Brother Murphy?
Right. Let me see. How long you been in the Word?
I've been in the Word for a very long time. I've been studying scriptures for like over 30 years. So, yeah. But to answer your question, over 30 years.
Oh, okay. And you married? You married too?
Right now, I'm not married. I'm just engaged. I want to get married so bad, but I had to go through marriage counseling.
Real talk right there.
Okay.
Any follow-up for war, or you want to pass to the ladies?
Oh, no, that's it. That's good. Yeah.
All right, I guess we'll leave it there. Let's go to the ladies. Mona, any questions you want to ask Mayanah? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm just soaking in. That was just funny just then. But I think Brother Mercy just brought up a good thing that oftentimes we just like hurdle right over that joint like we in the Olympics. Like marriage what? So marriage counseling. You understand what I'm saying? Go ahead and run right through that. That's something where you discuss and find out how crazy she really is before you go through with it. So this is some of the stuff that is just definitely needs to be brought back in. For us to kind of slow our roll. I'm just soaking it in. I said it's a good night. Just to meditate on prayerfully, those who are listening, receive something that can help them along the way. And just this honesty is just like refreshing. Nobody's like, nah, not me. It's just really refreshing to hear the honesty. It shows that there's a level of humility that's returning. And we are admitting, yeah, Most High, we jacked up. And now we need your help. So for me, I'm over here about to sip on some chai tea because it's been a good night.
Yeah, like my man Martin Lawrence said, Brother Mercy, you got to find out she's crazy, deranged. You got to find out. So, that's the good stuff right there. You got to have that counseling. There we go. But Mayanah, any questions you have for Emunah? Any questions?
Oh yeah, sis. All right, so we out here in the trenches, right? We know that the sisters are out there at the alone, and a lot of times, the first people to get to them are the men. So, what kind of responsibility do you feel like is on us as sisters that have already been in the culture, studying the culture? Do you think that we have a responsibility to be at the gate to greet these sisters so that they do not have their first teachers be men who may be unlearned and may not have their best interests at heart? Yeah.
Thirsty? Definitely. The Most High, and a lot of men have an aversion to this. They don't like it because for many reasons. A, you spoiling up the game. And it's our responsibility as men, women, and children, if you know the truth, to speak the truth, and raise your voice in respect, not to be, power struggling, but to let people know about stumbling blocks. And so for surety, this show, as well as other platforms that are dedicating time to speak the truth, I think is absolutely imperative for all people who say that they're returning to lend their voices to the cause. If you know that this is a stumbling block, if you know that people are silently perishing behind this stuff, we can't just sit in politics and not let it be known. So I think as women, especially who know from the perspective of a woman what to look out for, you definitely have to speak this stuff. I also know that there are women, because of the deficiency, because of the need for that masculine energy, oftentimes they don't hear what you're saying as a woman. Because they're really not looking for the truth at that particular point until it bites them. You understand? Until the lie has taken a chunk out of their behind, then they're going to remember, you know what, that sister was saying, he may be crazy and deranged. So, thanks for that one, Brother Sai. You reminded me of that. But, I think it's just a wake-up call for everybody, because there are stumbling blocks in women and there are stumbling blocks in men. But we as sisters who know that there's something going on specifically, like the brother was saying, geared towards these teachings. It's kind of like embedded, like on a virus on your computer, that joint just like, oops, chill, I went to the wrong and it just embed. This is what these virus-type teachings do. They embed in the consciousness, and they already work on people who are broken. And this is why we as a people are easy targets, because the truth of the matter is we are broken. You understand? So I think it's a responsibility for us to speak truth in whatever capacity that we can, and direct people back towards the Most High, not onto ourselves. And that's another very important thing, is that you don't try to, be the Most High onto people. You direct people back onto the Creator, and hopefully show them how it's done in forging that relationship with our true and living power. So hopefully that answers the question.
All right, people, we're going to pretty much wrap up the show. Again, listening audience, if you have any quick questions or comments, you know this is your time. You know I love hearing from the people out there. But for the first time in a while, everybody's standing by. The information was so powerful and straightforward, I guess, They're just, just taking it in and, it's straight up. So I appreciate you guys still tuning in, though, all across the globe. Check out Debate Talk Radio and your feedback on social media. We appreciate that. Just to let you guys know, like I mentioned the last show, I'm going to let you guys know about some upcoming shows for the Relationship Challenge. Every Monday, we do this every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. The next one is going to be next week, Monday, of course, and it's entitled Identifying Problems in the Hebrew-Israelite Relationship Paradigm. That's going to be next Monday, and of course the Monday after that, we're going to have another relationship challenge, and it's going to be entitled Interracial Relationships. That's going to be Volume 7, and Volume 8 is going to be Am I Unequally Yoked? So there's going to be the next 3 shows coming up right here on Debate Talk Radio on the Relationship Challenge. All right, so let's get some last words from the special guests. And let's start with Brother Mercy. And Brother Mercy, I appreciate you emailing me and coming on the panel. You did a great job coming on the panel, and hopefully we get you back on the show. But Brother Mercy, any last words? Go ahead. Brother Mercy, are you there? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm here. I was going to say this is a great discussion. It was a wonderful discussion. I learned a lot, So I would like to say that, I hope to have more future discussions like this. But I just feel being honest and being transparent is very important, and I think I've learned a lot from this discussion, and I hope to put it into practice in the future. All right.
All right, we appreciate that. Like I said earlier, if you want to be a part of the panel, just send me an email, debatetalkforyou@gmail.com. That's debatetalk, the number 4, and letter u@gmail.com. We'll gladly bring you on the platform. Don't be shy. Send me an email. Let's go to Mayanah, any last words you want to share with the people? Go ahead.
Well, I wanted to send my gratitude for the communications that we heard from the brothers, and I wanted to first extend that it was appreciated. And I think that we covered 8 of the ways that men and women are out of order. We discussed the stages and how we are literally out of order, rulership, the silencing factor, the fact that we use certain trigger words to provoke silence in the other person, governing, the idea that the men are using, that men cannot create rules, but rather they should just maintain the ones that are already in Torah, the burden of provision that has shifted from the rightful spaces of men onto women and have consequently disrupted the natural order of things. We didn't get to really talk about feminism and how it affects or doesn't affect the current situation, but we did get to talk about the natural love and affection of men and women and how we have started to pull away from that natural love and affection, and it's had predictable negative consequences. So I'm glad that we got to discuss those things, and hopefully we'll be able to, and prayerfully we'll be able to interrogate them further, if not on the radio, perhaps online and other spaces of social media. So with that, once again, I appreciate the opportunity to exchange ideas and break bread with my family here, and I thank you and Emunah for having me. And shalom to everybody that's listening and will listen.
All right, shalom, man. I'm going to see you here next week right here on Debate Talk Radio. Let's get some words from, War. Yeah, there you go. Water Swordsman, there you go. Any last words you want to share with the people? Go ahead.
Yeah. I wanted to say I love this, man. I love all y'all. Good platform, and I hope it continue to be strong and very honest like it's been, and I look forward to more shows, man. Thank you, Sal, for allowing me to be a part of this, bro.
Not a problem, my brother. Not a problem, man. Always welcome. And, of course, we got to, give props to the First Lady, Debate Talk Radio, for bringing this relationship challenge segment on here. It's growing and growing every week. I see we have a lot of positive feedback, and it seems like it's getting better and better as we progress. So, Emunah, any last words you want to share with the people?
I want to say all praise be to the Most High, the Holy One of Creation, the Holy One of Israel. Thank everybody for tuning in. For those who listen to the replay, for those who just, vibing, I pray that you call in, share your comments, your thoughts, because it's about healing, and we have to be honest. We have to acknowledge where our faults are, where our strengths are, and begin to work together. We can't do this without one another. We need both masculine and feminine energies coming together in a healing vibration in order to rebirth what it is that we're supposed to do. So this is an absolute necessity for us. We can no longer continue to go forward, looking like we're in the Special Olympics. That's just in the sense of, thinking that we are together when we are not, and that's not any necessary shot at anybody who may be physically disabled, but it is to say that we need to acknowledge where we are. So I think this is a beautiful stepping stone. I want to thank Brother Sal for definitely allowing me on the platform and just to bring the kind of Emunah vibe to it. So, it's a beautiful thing, and I pray everybody have a blessed night. And like Brother Mercy said, once again, Brother Mercy, thank you so much. You brought some stuff on tonight, definitely some things to consider, Brother Ahwar, Sister Mayanah, and definitely Brother Sal. And let's not just make it a conversation. The power comes when we plant the seeds, when we actually do the work. And so definitely go forward and do the work. Thank you for having me. Everybody have a blessed night.